And I wrote him back, and I was like, "Thank you, dude." It was a short kind of message back, and then a month later, he died, and changed my world. And it was just like, I'm telling you, Murderdolls first lineup, we were everything you read in the dirt times 10. BC goes, I just want my fucking guitar to sound like a goddamn chainsaw. A fucking chainsaw.
This is me on my own. It's all on me. It's not attached to Joey Jordison. If this fails, it's my fault. Do you feel pressure going into that?
Not at all. When I got that record deal, that might have been the best fuck you. All right, everybody's standing up, except for these pussies over here. These motherfuckers don't want to stand up. Stand up! And they wouldn't fucking stand up. And I'll keep agging it on. And one of our techs runs up to me and goes, "That's the handicap section." Our very last show we played at the Roxy, Joey and I kind of we didn't talk to each other. We knew it was over with. We didn't say fuck you. It ended kind of bad. I'll listen to Nirvana for some sex. I'll do what I gotta do. It's crazy because I'm turning 50 in August. And I still got that punk rock dude in me, but it almost feels like I finally figured this out. And we're high-fiving, and we're like, "You guys are the greatest. And as much as I love you, I want bad things to happen to you."
The hair metal guru from Warren to Crew. The hair metal guru. Never forget Charlie too.
Hey, what an honor to have the Duke of Spook, Wednesday 13 on the show. Wednesday was slugging it out in the late 90s in the clubs with his band Frankenstein Drag Queens, which led to him joining the Murderdolls with Joey Jordison from Slipknot for a couple albums. But he's built his career as a solo artist who's put out 10 albums, including 2025's Mid-Death Crisis, which I have right here. And he has a live album called Unalive from Poland Rock 2025 coming out on September 25th. With that, Wednesday 13, welcome to the show.
That was an excellent introduction. You nailed it. It's like you practiced it. Thank you. Thank you for having me, dude. I've been watching the show. And I guess we're saying earlier, Stevie Rochelle, the great Gazoo from the Flintstones. He's like, he makes miracles happen. And he introduced me to Jason Green when we were on tour in Australia, and he's like, "Man, there's this guy Jason does his podcast." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, I watch his stuff." And he's like, "I think you guys would hit it off." And Jason became my best friend, and then I'm seeing you and Stevie do your show, and you guys have already got a cool vibe. You're busting balls, and I love it. And so it's cool. It's just crazy how Stevie's been a big part of my life since I was a teenager or pre-nager.
Well, you and I were, because if I understand right, like he was the first rock star that wrote you back when you were a young glam fan.
Correct. He is the first one that actually wrote me back, but Poison actually wrote back, and they were the first band that I wrote, but I knew it wasn't real because all I did, because they would say it's like, for more information on the Poison fan club, send a SASE. And I'm a little country boy. "Daddy, what's an SASE?" "Well, that's a self-addressed stamped envelope." "Okay, what the hell does that mean?" So either way, I literally wrote a letter like, "Please send me info on Poison."
Right.
My dad may have wrote, I don't know.
Right.
And I get this letter back, North Carolina, in my little single wide trailer. I go summer vacation. I go and check the mailbox. You're a kid, you don't get mail.
Yeah.
You go check the mailbox, and there's a letter with the Poison letterhead. And I'm like, no fucking way, dude.
Yep.
And I opened it up, and it was a printed thing, and it was like, "Thank you for writing Poison. Your letter was so great. We had to write you back." And I knew right there, this is a pre.
That you were their most important fan. Yeah, and they had to get a hold of you.
But it was awesome because even then I was like, these guys didn't read that letter, but still, this is amazing. So, I'm from North Carolina, a little small town. Went to the skating rink on the weekends. That's where you hung out. You know,
Yep.
I'd probably still be hanging out there if I lived there.
Right.
So we'd go there on the, and I was getting into rock and roll. Obviously, I was into the, I'm in sixth, seventh grade or what, sixth grade, fifth, sixth grade. Listen to Poison. I'm still playing with GI Joes too.
Yeah.
I didn't want the girls to know that I was still, like I'm over here playing with Snake Eyes and hiding it with, Poison. But
Right.
yeah. So I forgot where I was going with that. I totally just started thinking
No,
about.
well, we were talking about Tough and Stevie Rochelle, and I was gonna say, like, he was the first person that wrote you
Oh yeah,
back.
Poison. Okay, I know my Poison letter. Sorry, I forgot. I got off
Yeah.
track there.
No.
So the Poison letter. I went to the skating rink, and I said I was a rock guy, but my mom, she wouldn't let me dress cool. I had an Ozzy Osbourne shirt that we got at a yard sale, the cool one with the decapitated head and the dude.
Yeah.
I could only wear it around the house, kind of deal. But at school, she dressed me. I had a mullet. I wasn't cool. But I liked cool music. I thought. So I go to the
Right.
skating rink, and this is back in the skating rink when dudes look like the dude on Christine movie, the dude that beat up Arnie,
Yep.
they're like they were 20 years old,
Yep.
leather jackets, cool hair.
Yep.
And I wanted to, and those are called the hoods, the hoodlums. And I'm
Right.
like, man, I want to be a hoodlum, but I got a little pinstripe shirt on and some khakis that my mom dressed me in, and only gave me $1 to get the cheapest skates. So I'm
Right.
just, I wouldn't even wear them. I just kept $1 to order cassettes off Metal Edge. So
Right.
either way, I got that Poison letter, and I bring it
Yeah.
in my jacket. And there's this one cool looking kid that he had the Paul Stanley. He got kicked out of the skate rink because he had one that had the sex wrote real big on the back, and we were like, "Oh, that guy's a rebel, right?"
Right.
And so I go up to him and I go, "Hey, man," and he's just like, "What's up, kid?" I said, "Hey, I said I like your shirt, whatever he had. I can't really remember." And I was like, he goes, "Thanks." I said, "Man," I said, "You like Poison?" And he's like, "Fuck yeah, I like Poison." And I went, they wrote me a letter, and he goes, "What?" Like, well, yeah. And I was like, "Dude, they wrote me a letter," and I had it ready. Check it out. And this dude was just like, you should have seen his face. And I was like, I got him. And he was like, holy shit, how did you do this? And I went, I just wrote them, man, and they were really cool. I told them how much I liked them, and I went with it. I
They're
went
really
with their
cool.
story. I went with their story,
Yep.
and that got me to hang out with some cooler, or just hanging out with anybody besides myself up against the fucking wall.
Right.
So
Right.
that was sort of like my introduction, to hanging out with cool people, or what I thought liked my kind of music.
Right.
But yeah, so that was the first band that I wrote.
Yeah.
But when I started saving up my lunch money and stuff in school, I would order cassettes out of Rock on the Rise on Metal Edge.
Yep.
I just looked at the coolest bands. And I remember my buddy, I'm gonna call this dude Crazy Eddie. You'll probably hear his name several times. Crazy Eddie was my buddy. We liked the same music. We went after the same stuff. And Crazy Eddie's family had a little more money, so he could go to the on the weekends, and he could buy 2 copies of Metal Edge and every other fucking rock magazine they had, and they had them all.
Right.
Rock Scene, ones that would come out for a month. And he would take these home, and we would look through all the magazines, cut out all the pinups of the cool bands,
Yep.
and some of them we didn't know. Tough was the one, and there's a picture of Michael Lean in the skeleton jacket
Yep.
doing that pose, which I steal all the time. I go, "That's the Michael Lean pose." I do it. I tell everybody, that's my. Everybody get behind me. They don't know what I'm doing, but that's the Tough pose.
Yeah.
And we saw this picture, and we're like, man, this band looks cool as fuck. Tough. That's cool. They look. I was convinced Michael Lean was the front guy because he's up front.
Yeah.
And it was so crazy because we were like, because all the bands had the blonde dude, so it was kind of like, whoa, this is an Alice Cooper type kind of dude. So no idea. We had no clue really who was who. And then I saw them maybe in Metal Edge and read about them and realized I still don't know if I knew Stevie was the front guy. But then I guess I did realize before. But I wrote him a letter, and I ordered their cassette, and it was the 4 song, I believe, Center Street, Good Guys Wear Black,
Yep.
Forever Yours, and the fucking the don't tell me. The wasn't Lonely Lucy, was it? No, it was that's another one.
It wasn't Spit Like This, was it? I don't think it was.
I'm
Shit, I
drawing a
don't
blank on it,
remember.
but it's on they did it on What Comes Around Goes Around.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the 4 songs, and I got it, and Stevie sent the flyer. It was one of the flyers, and hell just froze over, and it was them in like ice cubes, I guess, and they just got signed, and he signed it to Joe, and I couldn't read his writing, and it said Stevie Rockefeller, and I was like, "Whoa, Stevie Rockefeller is that's him. He's just and then I realized, or then I saw in Metal Edge Stevie Rochelle. He's the vocalist. Oh, so he's the singer." But I'll never forget putting that cassette in because I had ordered everything, from fucking Cherry Street to Creature to Wild, everything,
Yeah.
And when Good Guys Wear Black comes on, and I was like, "Whoa, this is mean." It was tough.
Yeah.
It wasn't wimpy. It wasn't safe sounding.
Pardon the
And I was
pun.
expecting Stevie's look. I was expecting to hear, and I heard the smoke clears all around. I was like, "Whoa, this is." And I fucking favorite band instantly. This is my favorite band. And the dudes wrote me.
Right.
I got a connection. I've already made, so it was just like, that was my band. And they just got signed. And so it was like pulling for a team. I'm not a sports guy, but it was like pulling for your sports team. And I was like, fuck yeah, these are my guys. I'm ready for it. So, and you didn't have the internet, so you only had basically Metal Edge or Rip Magazine. Basically, Metal Edge is the only one covered tough, usually the correct way. And so that's how I knew about what was going on. So I was able to know when the album's coming out. You had the pin up, the full page ad for What Comes Around with the coolest picture of them on the carousel. And I wrote, I don't know how I got the address. I don't know if you did this, but I wrote Atlantic Records and said, I want to help promote. And they mailed me a fucking stack of purple tough flyers. Said out now.
Shit.
Just a generic. But that year, a stack. Like I never got a mail. Like it was a book, phone book, and I was like, "This is cool as hell." What am I going to do with this? So I went to the mall on a Friday or Saturday, and I'm just handing them out. People are just tearing them up and throwing them down. They're all over the floor to the point where they're like, "You're littering. Get out of the mall. You can't come back if you do this again." So I kind of went home and stuck that other half that I didn't throw on the floor of the mall, stayed in that dresser drawer of my parents' house till I probably moved out.
Right.
My dad may still have some tough flyers in the drawer. I don't know, but I wanted to go promote, and then they went on tour, and they played this place. The closest place they played to me was this little redneck town called Hickory, North Carolina, and I was from China Grove, which sounds even more redneck, but believe me, there was a difference. It was a whole different level of redneck.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend was 14, I was 15, and her grandmother drove us to Hickory, which is an hour and a half drive, but a grandmother driving you, probably longer. And they waited in the car and dropped us off at doors. And we sat to the opening band, waited for us. The grandparents, both of them waited on us to go see Tough. And I couldn't be more excited. So we went up, we start talking to the merch guy, taking pictures with him. He's our best friend. And there was a poster I think Stevie talked about recently that they didn't really like, that they didn't approve, but the label put it out anyway.
I have the big 2436. Yeah.
And he's got the cool black hat on, I think, right? Which is another reason why I wear hats. And I'm like, and they had it behind the merch thing. And I was like, oh my God, can I please have that? And he was like, yeah, no problem. Now I know why. They didn't like it. So it wasn't, I guess they just had it, but I took that home, and that was a huge centerpiece over the other Tough centerpiece. But either way, see the show. I couldn't, my first club show ever, seeing a live band in a club, which is a total
Yep.
different experience. And it was a local opening band. I don't remember if they were good, but it was good to me because I was 15. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But Tough came out, and I remember Michael Lean just walking out, and it was just like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. This is like,
Totally.
I was just lost in it. And I killer show, and I got my CD ready. I'm wearing my dog tag, my Tough dog tag, because I joined the fan club. I got
Right.
all the 8x10s. I got the poster. I got the satin kangaroo patch,
Right.
and I had it on. Not that it counted for anything, but I was just ready to show them.
Yep.
And the first person I see come off stage is Todd, and he runs straight to the bar and sits down. And I go, I'm gonna run up to him. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Man, you're my favorite band. Well, man, will you please sign this? And he goes, you got a pen? I went, I don't. And he goes, well, if you get a pen, I'll sign it. And he turned around, and I was just like, oh. I didn't know what to do. And then Stevie came out, and then I ran over to him, and he was Stevie, and he was awesome. And oh my God, I can't remember what all we said, and
Right.
took pictures on the, it wasn't even the wind up. It was the old camera with the developing thing, and
Right.
took the photos, everything. I did get the pin from Stevie, and I went up and got Todd's autograph later, which was fine. Which Stevie busted Todd's balls later on in front of me, years and years later. It was awesome. So it was hilarious. But
Do you
and
still
then
have those pictures?
you know what? We were so stupid. We took pictures over pictures and overdeveloped the
Oh,
pictures.
yeah.
So I had
Yep.
my memory mixed in with like some family bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I don't have those pictures
Shit.
anymore. I wish I did,
Right.
but yeah, that was my first club show, and then and that was it. And I got the extra large. I don't know why I weighed 99 pounds. I got the extra large white, what comes around goes around shirt.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
came home, and I picked up my guitar, and I felt like I played harder and I played better because I wanted to be in a band now. I was like, after I
Right.
saw them, I want to do it more now. My first concert was Motley Crue, Dr. Feelgood, and my brother took me to
Right.
see that, and that changed my life. That made me want to be
Yeah.
in a band. But seeing Tough, and just I was getting older. I was already playing guitar for a couple of years, and I'm like, I want to do this now, and so
There was
Stevie's just
something
been a
about
big part,
there was something about coming in with a band on the ground floor. Like I was the first one there, like nobody
Yeah.
else knew about Tough before I did. That was a big
Exa-
deal back then.
it felt cool, and I searched for bands like that, and
Totally.
it wasn't that I didn't like the big bands. Of course I did.
Yes.
I love Poison. I love Motley Crue. I love Rat. I liked all the big band, Whitesnake. I liked all that shit.
Totally.
But Faster Pussycat, LA Guns, Tough, the bands that no one had ever heard of were my bands. And
Yeah.
another one of my favorites was Love Hate.
Oh,
Um,
shit.
Before we did the show, I was looking through my stuff, and I pulled a couple things out that I wish I don't have everything that I have from my youth, but I have
Yep.
my Love Hate autograph CD where I stood outside of their bus to get autographed, and I got all the original dudes.
No shit.
Except for Johnny Love. This is when they still had Darren Holzhauer, I believe.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I missed school the following day to go see them, and that changed my life too. That was
Right.
another band like Tough and Love Hate. I think were my bands I invested the most time into, because I
Yep.
joined the Tough fan club. I
Yep.
ordered I ordered a Love Hate video where it showed Jizzy hanging from the cross on the Hollywood sign.
Yep.
So that was two of the bands that I embraced the most, and becoming, a musician and stuff, and when I later became a singer, those were the vocal guys I focused on, like Jizzy's key and Stevie's key. That tone was those were my favorite bands, so that's why I sound like I do, because that's the ingredients of that.
When grunge started, like what Did you get into that at all, or what were you into in the early 90s?
I fucking hated it so much. And
Yeah.
it's crazy because, but it had, it's again, I guess everything happens for a reason, but,
Yeah.
so when grunge came out was my I was in ninth grade 3 times. I was that smart. Then my
Okay.
second year at night, that's a whole other story. I was in ninth grade the second time, and I met my girlfriend who was as evil as I was, and either way, we both liked music or whatever. And during our lunch break, these local guys set up some drums and some amps. These guys knew how to play guitars, like 2 football players and 2 long-haired guys. And one of the dudes was in my art class because my art class had like ninth grade, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade people all in there. So you had all the ages. And I became friends with the bass player. He'd come watch my band at lunch. And it was right when Metallica, Enter Sandman had just came out.
Yeah.
Right when Teen Spirit had just came out. And that was the 2 covers that they played at lunch.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have been more disappointed because
Right.
I wasn't a Metallica guy.
Yeah.
And I absolutely was not Nirvana guy at all. That didn't, and still doesn't appeal to me to this
Right.
day. I love Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
Could do without Nirvana. I think they've got some cool songs over time. I know them by heart because of the
Sure.
radio. I
Yep.
do like some of it, but it wasn't
Yep.
world changing, game changing like Alice in Chains is. Alice in Chains was a game changer.
Right.
I
Today
didn't feel
is
like, yeah, but
oh
that's just my opinion.
yeah.
I'm not saying this. That's just how I felt. Either way, so I see this band play at lunch. Everybody's screaming for them, and I'm just like, man, that's cool. I want to be in a band, but I don't want to fucking play this shit. This is terrible. So I'm in art class by the end of the year. Everyone's graduating, and the bass player guy, my buddy, he's like, "Hey, so our guitar player's leaving, man, and we need a guy. And I know you play and everything. You want to join us?" And I'm like, "Man, I don't want to play that, they call me Glam Guy because I was like, Tiger. He's like, "What's your favorite band?" I was like, Tiger Tails. you know. I had the Tiger Tails logo on my jacket. I had it drawn on.
Right.
I could draw that cat with the middle finger,
Hell
and I
yeah.
had it on a purple jean jacket that I wore to school because I was just asking for, beating, I guess.
Right.
And he's like, "Man, you should come. You should come try out for us." I was like, "I don't know. I don't know." And I had an Ibanez. I had a half stack. I had what you needed to go jam and be in a band. And I had been practicing. I learned how to play guitar from the first Faster Pussycat record.
Okay.
I told you my wealthy crazy Eddie. He had a little more
Yep.
money. We went into the record store. There was a Faster Pussycat tablature book. It had a poster of them and sign it. He goes, "I want that poster." He paid $40 for it. He goes, took the poster out and said, "Have this." I learned how to read tab, and that's the only guitar lessons I've ever had in my life.
Okay.
So I learned
Okay.
how to play from that first record. I learned every note on it. I forgot a lot of it, but I know a lot of it. Still to this day, I can still play all those songs.
Sure.
But that was my guitar thing. So either way, I'd learned how to play guitar to Faster Pussycat, and
Yep.
then I learned by ear. I could play Sea Hags. I could play simple stuff to me. It was kind of, and I could play. Oh, I wasn't great. And I couldn't figure
Right.
Motley Crue out because they were in a total different tuning, which I didn't know
Right.
till later you could do that. I just thought that they were just impossible to play their songs.
Right. Right.
So either way, my hot girlfriend in ninth grade, I tell her, "Hey, these guys asked me to join their band," and she talked like Sling Blade Kid. You're like, "You better go join that band. I want my boyfriend to be in a band." And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't like that. They're not playing glam, like they don't like that." It's like, you better join. It's almost like you better join or I'm going to break up with you.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm like, "Fuck,
Right.
all right. I don't, this is my first time I'm getting some, I'm not,
Right.
I didn't want to break that off.
You got to
Yeah,
join the band.
I'll listen to Nirvana for some sex. I'll do what I got to do."
Right.
So I go and I rehearse with them. and I had fun. And they had some originals, and it didn't feel like I was playing that music, and it was cool. And it got me to understand how a band works and being in front of people. And we didn't have a front guy forever. We were just basically a four-piece band that got together 3 times a week and played a few cover songs, a few originals, and we couldn't find a vocalist. And we got one guy come in for maybe 6 months, and it was awesome. And then he joined the military and left.
Okay.
And and we were like, fuck, we just lost one guy. And we were at rehearsal, and I came in one day with this song, and I was like, I got this song. It kind of goes like this. And I just did what I did. And everybody in the room turned around and went, and everybody stopped. And I went, what? Is that awful? That suck? And he goes, you sound so cool. And I went, do I? And they were like, we've been looking for a singer, and you could do this. And I went, can I? And I'm like, yeah, I can, and then girlfriend's watching going, oh, guitar player steps up the front guy. She worships Sebastian Bach.
Oh, yeah.
I worship Sebastian Bach.
Same.
I thought he was the greatest vocal. He's the reason why I sing. Like Alice Cooper and Sebastian are the voices that like I said, that I really kind of put together to make the Wednesday 13 voice, so to speak.
Do you know what today is?
What is today?
Today is the 35th anniversary of the release of Slave to the Grind.
It's also the 40th anniversary of Stay Hungry.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Damn.
So,
okay.
Bam, bam. Right
bam,
there.
bam.
2 records that
and just a few days ago
was
a few days ago was the 40th anniversary of Night Songs. That was like
that's another
anyway.
The other great, but yeah. So girlfriend loves Skid Row. Slave to the Grind is my favorite record. I could not stop listening to it. I loved it. And when she would watch Sebastian and Monkey Business with that camera right up his crotch, she'd just make all these sexual remarks. I mean, fucking teenagers, we're
hell yeah.
And I'm just like, man, I want her to think of me like this, so I want to be a front guy. So just fueling me, to be like watching that. So that, and I already had, like I said, I just somehow the DNA of Stevie and Jizzy Pearl and Spread Eagle and all those raspy vocal guys. Yeah. And then Alice Cooper, being the master of that raspy, just sarcastic tone. But Sebastian Bach came in with that raspy tone, but also could blow your fucking head off. Yeah. And nobody could do it. Nobody could out headbang him. He was the coolest looking dude on earth. And I wanted to be him, and I wanted everybody to look at me the way they looked at him. And that was the goal. And so that got me into being a front man, and I sort of put the guitar down and just focused on being a front guy and just doing local gigs. And then that local band split up, and then I turned it into my first band where I'm the vocal guy, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm writing all these songs and I'm doing this, so we're gonna be weird. We're gonna mix all this stuff,
Was that first band Maniac Spider Trash?
Yes, that started.
And you were just playing guitar in that band?
No, I was a vocalist of that band.
You were okay.
Yeah, so the vocalist before was this band called Misery with a Z.
Yes. Okay.
and then we had a vocalist that came in around the time when Dream Theater got popular, and he convinced us to change our name to Psycho Opera. And that lasted for a month, and then that band breaks up, and then we decide, hey, we're going to start a band. I get Crazy Eddie on drums because he's my guy I used to jam with, and he knew all the glam shit that was cool. Sea Hags, Spread Eagle, Love Hate. We knew, so I was like, I had more of a team, And then I had the guy from my art class who I got him into all the glam shit I was into. So he was, he loved Queensryche, but he's like, man, Tiger Tails is good. So the
Right.
guitar player was my guy I headbutted with because he was more of a metal guy, But
Sure.
so we disagreed a little bit, but visually we agreed on we wanted to be weird, and that's when we were in Crazy Eddie's basement, which literally looks like my room here, and just toys and weird stuff. And we got into all of his sister's '70s clothing, and we just started wearing weird shit like velvet hats, and we'd rip up. We'd go to the thrift store and get like velvet old lady jackets, and kind of like how Tammy looked in the "You're So Vain" video.
Yep. Yep.
But a dirtier version of
Yeah.
that is kind of what we look like. And then I was, nobody wanted to wear makeup. I couldn't get anybody to wear makeup. I'm like, fuck, how am I going to get them to do it?
This is
And
early 90s, right?
This is 93, I think.
Right.
1990. Yeah.
Makeup for guys is completely out by then.
Oh, yeah. It
Totally.
was not even heard of. So
Yep.
we have a Halloween show coming up, and I'm like, this is how I'm going to get them all. It's Halloween, guys. Let's put on some makeup. It'll be cool. It's everybody, let's just put a little black under your eyes. Come here. I'll do it for you. I got you.
Yeah.
I fucking went for it. And
Yep.
it never came off after that.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay.
Ever. And that was it. I was like, it's in. Now this is how we look. And when we did a show and everybody saw us and they saw all the girls going, hey, I want to talk to you. Then I saw them looking in the mirror doing, it's hilarious.
Right.
It's crazy. And they didn't want to take it off either. And we got weird, and we became the weird band in town. And Maniac Spider Trash actually got in the Rock on the Rise version of Rip magazine.
Really?
In 1995, when Rip changed their logo to that horrible logo.
Yep.
I want to say the third issue, my band got a full color picture of Maniac Spider Trash in there. So that was my first ever making it into like a Rock on the Rise, And I made it in there in 95. I still have that magazine somewhere in one of my closets. There's a picture of a full pinup of the dude in Blind Melon to give you a timeline.
Yes.
Shannon Hoon. Full pin up, turn the page, and then there's another page, and then Maniac Spider Trash. And I'm literally holding a mop with black tape wrapped around it, my mom's mop that and I'm in a black and polka dotted dress, black lipstick. I pretty much look like I do now.
Yeah.
Great black hair, red roots, and it had our address. And dude, I came home one day and we had 200 letters.
No shit.
And my dad's mailbox. And he was like, boy, what in the hell have you done? What is this? I'm like, holy shit. I feel like a rock star. This is 95. So I'm fresh out of, or almost, I think I was still in high school. I was graduating in 95, So, getting Rip magazine, and I'm like,
were you guys like, I mean, were you a huge club draw? Is that what led to you getting in the Rock on the Rise, or
not really? We self-funded a cassette, an EP, and we just wrote a bio up and made it look awesome. Got a headshot, found these addresses in the back of magazines, or looked up looked in the back of a band's layout in a book and be like, who's their manager? Who's their, all right, send them. And we had, so it was just sending stuff out, and Rip magazine, we didn't even know. We literally bought the magazine and saw it. That was cool. It wasn't like they gave you a heads up.
Right.
So that was even a cooler surprise. And so I got, so now my memory's coming back to me that I was still in high school, maybe a few months left. And dude, when you get, you're in North Carolina and you can't get enough mail in the mailbox, you feel cool. That's that's a little mailbox, but you feel cool, especially when you've been the dude gets picked on and called the weirdo and the F word, So, it felt cool. And I was like, man, we're in Rip magazine, man. I might get a record deal as soon as I get out of high school.
Yep.
Any minute now. Where's that phone going to ring? Well, it didn't ring.
Right.
Shit, man, I don't want to get a job. And man, I was hanging on for dear life, and
Right.
my mom just had enough. And I was being, I was being a rock star. I had, I was bringing chicks home to my parents' house and having a couple chicks and sleeping till 2 a.m. And she's like the vacuum cleaner up to the door, like, get the fuck out of here. And then they just told me, you got to get a job. And I'm like,
Yep.
fuck. So I got a job and I delivered furniture for this little independent place making $5 an hour.
Yep.
And Maniac Spider Trash broke up. And I'm like, well, I'm going to get even weirder. I'm going to make the Frankenstein drag queens from Planet 13. And the whole reason that band started was because I had just got into Ed Wood, the movie that Johnny Depp did, or
Yep.
Tim Burton did the movie about Ed Wood.
Yep.
And he had put a book out called Nightmare of Ecstasy. And I just fell in love with this guy's drive for, I mean, he's labeled as making the worst movie of all time, Plan 9 from Outer Space. And if you watch, have you seen this movie, Ed Wood? I don't know if you know it,
I know.
but
I
like,
think I saw it way back in the day, but I like right now I can't remember it.
what
I
it
know of
was
it
so,
though.
I saw so much of myself in this dude that like he'd make these movies and they'd go, all right, action. And they'd take this cut and it'd be terrible. And he goes, that's good, let's go. And they'd go, well, don't you want a second cut? And he goes, that's perfect, let's go. And that's how I was. That's
Yeah.
how Frankenstein Drag Queens recorded. We got 8 hours. Don't fuck up. Go. Record. I hit a wrong note. Ain't my fucking problem. You know what I mean? Like, so those drag queen records got bum notes all over them. But we formed a new band out of the. I took the drummer at Spider Trash, started Frankenstein Drag Queens, working at the furniture store, and the band starting to get a really good developing following in the area. And we played one of those local radio shows called the Weenie Roast, and I believe
Yep.
Faith No More headlined, and a bunch of like the radio bands like Seven Mary Three, and
Right.
a bunch of junk that just was safe rock. And I
Yep.
remember being like, and we got to play like a 3 o'clock slot on a side stage, and we were already kind of popular in the area, so
Yeah.
I was kind of used to an audience. But we walked out, and it was, I mean, it was thousands and thousands of people as far as you could see. And this is Charlotte, North Carolina, the Blockbuster Pavilion where I saw all my concerts, and so it was a big deal. And we came out, and I just went for it. And there's still a YouTube video of that. And we came out, and I think Seven Mary 3 was on the stage, and when they were talking, I started our show off, or one of the songs off, making fun of one of their radio songs. Hopefully, they would hear me.
Right.
I don't think they did, but the crowd laughed about it. And so, either way, like I said, the Ed Wood guy inspired the whole look of the drag queens because Ed Wood was this driven movie guy, and I thought I saw myself in him being this music guy. But the weird thing was, Ed Wood would dress up, and he would, like, when he'd get stressed out, he would go and put on his girlfriend's Angora sweater, and he became like known as this like drag queen thing. And I thought that was so weird. Of course, I was never going and putting that kind of shit on. I just liked the weirdness of freaking, because in North Carolina you can go freak anyone out in a club if you're three skinny dudes wearing dresses and you walk in and the first thing you say is beer is for the F word.
Yeah.
I'd scream it and we'd go into a song and people would look at us and go, did he just say what I think I said? He said, did he just say beer is for
Right.
faggots?
Yeah.
Because we went in trying to start fights with people in dresses, and it worked. And we got in a lot of fights. Our first show was opening for the Murder Junkies
Okay.
after Gigi had passed, and
Right.
then that band put out a CD. I self-funded it, put myself in the hole, had to work harder for the furniture job, and then I got us into Circus Magazine.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, now I'm going to do it. And then I found some lady in Kerrang magazine in the UK, sent her Frankenstein Drag Queen CD, and this company wrote back and said, "You're the most brilliant band we've ever heard. You're like the Damned and Jane County, which is another big influence on the drag queens, and Hanoi Rocks and the Dickies and the Damned or whatever." And it was just like, and they submitted our record to Kerrang, and we got a 5K review, which is the top you could get.
Yeah,
dude, I didn't even know. I was such a hillbilly. I didn't know anything. I didn't pay attention. Like I didn't know how far England was. I didn't know what it was. Just okay. I didn't know what Kerrang really was. I knew they put my favorite glam bands in it, but so that got us some interest, and I just started. My goal was to get into the big magazines, and then I started a PO box and started exchanging letters, and we put a couple of independent records out, and Joey Jordison of Slipknot gets one of the records, and he told me that he would listen to it while he was on tour. That would be like what he'd get dressed to or whatever. That was like one of his put on CDs because we were just a fuck you kind of band.
Yeah.
And at the time he was in a band called the Rejects, not because Murderdolls, we formed that name together, but he had a band called the Rejects, and it was his front guy that told him about Frankenstein Drag Queens. And I guess when Slipknot went off tour in 2000, at the end of 2001 or 2002, they were going off tour and they were going on a hiatus. And I had just taken my vacation, and I'm sorry, my story's all over the place.
No. This is awesome.
I come home from I always took my vacation at Halloween time. And I come home from my vacation and I still got an answer machine, and I hit the button. It's like, you have one message. And there's a message it's like, hey, this is Joey Jordison. I play in a band called Slipknot. I heard of your band. Give me a call. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what the fuck? And my job at the time when this happened, 2001, I was delivering magazines. I'm not even joking you. I had just put them on the cover. They were on the cover of Rolling Stone. And I just finished my last shift, and I was like, who's this fucking band?
Right.
And I remember being, because I didn't want to work, I just wanted to be in a band and stuff. I was like, these 9 guys that's what it's got to be to get in a band. All right. It was just funny. And I came home, and I'm like, someone's calling me. Who's fucking with me? I'm like, why would this dude call me? So I call him, and he's like, I've got your record, and I have this band called the Rejects, and Slipknot's going on a hiatus, and we're looking at you to be in the band. Would you want to be the bass player? And I'm like, I wasn't really stoked on it, but at the same time, I got to get the fuck out of North Carolina. It was like an escape for me because I hated it there, because I wasn't accepted it just wasn't my place. And I was like, yes. They're like, but we also want to use your songs. And I'm like, okay, well, fuck, at least I played bass on my own songs. Okay. So I go up, and
he knew he wanted to use the Frankenstein Drag Queen songs even then.
Oh, he already picked out 5 of them.
Okay.
Off the record. He had already picked Twist My Sister. There was a handful. The one that became Slit My Wrist. Kill Miss America. There was a few that we did. So when I went up as the bass player, they had a vocalist, and we did demos with that guy, Dizzy, singing my songs.
Okay.
And I can't tell you how weird that was for me to hear. And not that he did a bad job, and I love Dizzy, and he's been so cool and respectful for what happened and everything. But it was a weird thing to hear someone sing my songs, because it wasn't done the way it was meant to be for me. But at the same time, I was excited because Joey Jordison was in the biggest band in the world, and he loved my songs. And what he loved the most was, he goes, "Are you a Slipknot fan?" And I went, "Will you get mad if I say no?" And he said, "No." And I said, "I don't really care about your band at all. I was like, it ain't my style. I think
Yeah.
some of you guys look, and he started laughing about it, and
Right.
he's like, go tell me what you think. And I was like, I don't think you suck. I just don't like it. It ain't my thing. I wasn't a
Yeah.
metal guy, you know.
No.
And I think that made him like me more because he's like, this guy could be in the band. He ain't gonna be a fanboy.
Right.
You know, he's just gonna be a cool dude. And he liked my personality. And so he goes back on tour with Slipknot to finish like a Japan South American tour or something. Then he comes back and we go to finish the demos. And I was staying at his house with his mom. He still lived at his mom's house. And I was staying in his sister's bedroom that they'd already moved out. He was the last one to move out.
Yeah.
And I stayed in the sister's bedroom, and we'd go to he would sleep all day, which was weird because I was a early dude. So I'm up at 7 a.m. waiting for this dude to wake up at 3 o'clock. And we go to the studio, and one day we were working on something, and he got mad that Dizzy didn't show up or something. I don't remember. And we went back to his mom's house at like 3 a.m. And his mom used to hang out and would drink a beer with him at night, you know, when he'd come home. She's super cool. And she'd always have like classic rock playing, which was badass. She'd be vacuuming at 3 a.m. listening to Steely Dan, and we sat down, and I didn't drink or anything. I just sat down, and he's like, Mom, he goes, I don't know about this whole thing, you know, Slipknot was a big band. I got to do this right. And I think I want Wednesday to be the singer. And I didn't even know he's going to say it. And I just went like, and I went, and then the mom she took a drag of her cigarette. She goes, well, he's a good looking guy. And he sang those songs that and I was going, yeah, yes, Mom's got my back.
Hell
and
yeah.
I went, Joey, I was like, I would love to be the front guy. And he's like, you got to be, dude. I don't want to do that to Dizzy. But you got to be. For my career, I got to do this. I got to do it right. And I'm just like, just tell me when to do it. And he goes, well, your flight goes home in 3 days, so you better start rewriting all those songs. And I went in his sister's bedroom, and I rearranged because every song that wasn't a drag queen song, because there was a handful of reject songs.
Yep.
Joey's like, Dizzy wrote that, and I wrote that. So changed the verses, and we'll keep this part. And I literally sat in his sister's bedroom. There's a white bedroom with blue flowers. And I was writing "Slit My Wrist," the new version, and People Hate Me, and I came up with all of it. It was just like it just naturally came out of me. And I went in the studio. In 18 hours, I laid down all the vocals for that first album. 18 hours. We took a little small break. I couldn't even talk when I was done. He produced the fuck out of me and sent me back home. And I was just waiting to hear the mix. And then he sent me a mix, and I'm like, holy shit. It was like Frankenstein Drag Queens on crack, produced, and just perfect. And we were immediately signed to Roadrunner Records because of his deal with Slipknot. And they were putting out Corey Taylor's band at the same time, and they thought, well, we'll just, Slipknot's on a break, we'll combine these two bands and put a promotion machine of Slipknot behind these two bands, and we were everywhere. And there were still magazines.
Yep.
There was still Metal Edge. And we were on the cover. Our first time in Metal Edge, Paul Gargano gave us the cover.
Right.
Because, and we weren't supposed to have the cover. He gave it to us because I convinced him, telling you the way I'm talking to you, my love for rock and roll, and he saw it. And he went, he goes, I was just supposed to give you guys a 4-page feature, but I'm putting you on the cover. And I went,
nope. I had that. I remember that.
Dude, that was still one of my greatest. You'll say, what's the greatest accomplishment? Is getting on the cover of that magazine where it was in grocery stores that my mom
Yeah.
could go get.
Yeah.
It was the coolest thing ever.
What happened when you told the Frankenstein drag queens guys, "Hey guys, I got this opportunity. I'm out."
The best part about that is that band had been through so many members. By the last
Yeah. Okay.
incarnation of that band, I was the lead guy.
Right.
They knew it was my thing. It was nobody really made. I dressed everybody. I named everybody. I told them how to do what. So it wasn't like a involved thing, you know. And even the other guys too. I did everything. I wrote all the music, told everybody what to do, and so it's always been. I've always been a leader of that thing, you know. And that comes from my dad being a sergeant, you know. And so I'm just so when it came time for me to be a solo guy, that was a natural thing. But yeah, when I told Frankenstein Drag Queens guys, I'm like, man, I got this opportunity, and I'm not, and they were cool about it.
Yeah.
At least they seemed like they would.
Yeah.
I'm not really in touch with those dudes, but I don't think there's any animosity or anything like that.
Right.
But dude, in 2002, I was able to go around the world with Joey, and we messaged you the other day when we were talking, setting this up. I showed you the Hanoi Rocks laminate that we'll get to. Like, our 15th show, I believe, was playing in Japan, opening for Guns N' Roses and Hanoi Rocks on a festival with like Weezer and Andrew WK and a bunch of. It was a big festival.
Yeah.
And we were on it, and I could not believe we were going to be playing. I didn't care about Guns N' Roses because it was only Axl at that point.
Yeah.
I like Guns N' Roses, but I Hanoi Rocks, because they were gone. This was their first time back, and so that was our 15th show was playing with Hanoi Rocks, and I chased them down. Like, I found them immediately and became friends. And I struck up a friendship with Michael Monroe from then to this day. He's still yeah. When I watch your show, I always see that, and I always see your Hanoi stuff. So he's another huge influence. He's like Stevie. He's one of those guys that look really pretty, but they had the rawness in their voice,
the growl,
and they're again another influence. But we did Hanoi Rocks in Japan, and then the music scene still. Murderdolls came out at a really weird time. It was like, it was kind of funny because Joey was part of what was called a nu metal band, but Murderdolls' message was fuck everybody, especially nu metal. And he jumped on the train. It was like, you're part of it. And he's like, yeah, but fuck it too.
do you ever get the feeling that no, obviously he's part of one of the biggest bands in the world, maybe the biggest, but
right, yeah.
Did you feel like the Murderdolls were more where his musical soul was at? Like, maybe like, fuck, I hope I can make this happen, because that's what he wanted to do.
I think I think it was half and half. That's why he loved it, but the thing was, he was so respected as a drummer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, I've met everybody. I've seen, like guys that I consider awesome, like Charlie Benante of Anthrax. I mean, I'm not a glam guy, but when I did like metal, Anthrax was one of my favorites. And I always knew that guy was good. He always had a cool style. And I remember him like rushing into our dressing room at a festival and like just hanging out with Joey, and just was like, just asking him how he did patterns and stuff. And Joey's, oh no, it's like this. And Charlie like going, what? Right. Like, it was just cool. And like Dave Grohl, like, hey, where's Joey? Yeah, and just, he's in there. Just, it was just, you felt cool with that dude. And the thing with Murderdolls was he was an average guitar player. He always, he was a rhythm guitar player. He couldn't shred. I couldn't shred either, but we looked cool when we played. We were, and so I think, had he been an Eddie Van Halen, like if he was the wizard on guitar the way he was, right, I think he would have been as equally happy with Murderdolls being a bit. But I think just the respect and the level of touring that Slipknot and just because Murderdolls, we scummed it out in places, you know. We weren't like it wasn't huge everywhere, you know.
Sure.
Like, but we had great stuff, but we also played dumps and things that I still do to this day, you know. But it was cool to watch that guy who headlines arenas and stadiums jumping in a van and you know
Right.
not flying first class and he really liked going back. He called it punk rocking it. I don't
Yeah.
mind punk rocking it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, give me a six pack. I just fucking do it.
Right.
You know.
What happened with Dizzy when he found out you were going to be the singer?
You know, I still don't really know the whole story.
Okay.
I know that Joey. It wasn't like a. I'm not going to tell you. Fuck you. Goodbye. I think Joey settled with him and gave him you know compensated him and because they were buddies and they remained buddies and he
Right.
was cool with me too and I think Dizzy knew that because
Yeah.
Dizzy was a fan of me of
Yeah.
what I did and
Yeah.
but I got to say he was really cool about it because not many people would be happy with having something like that taken away from them but you know man I was it was an opportunity for me and it was just like we were using my songs. I was like, this is I gotta do this, man.
Yeah.
And I had the drive and Joey saw it in me and we were a really cool team together. Like we jailed and he was the drummer in my head. You know, I write all my stuff. And I always write with a drum beat in my head, you know, and when I first played with him, I'm like, you're the dude that you do what I hear without me telling you
Yeah.
to do it. So we had a
Right.
unique thing and you know, so yeah, Murderdolls went on tour that first year. Like I said, we played with Hanoi. We did we only toured for a year because he was
Yeah.
forced, not even joking, forced back to Slipknot.
Yep.
He didn't want to go back to Slipknot. I don't think Corey did either. I don't know, but we got 2 months with Iron Maiden main support in Europe, and as great as that sounds,
That's
and it
kind of
was,
an awkward pairing.
yeah.
in a
But we had
way.
the same management. We were with Rod Smallwood.
Rod Smallwood.
I had Blackie Lawless's wardrobe case on that tour, still with blood in it. It was awesome.
Right.
They brought it to me on purpose. But Iron Maiden was another band I didn't. Dudes with Iron Maiden shirts picked on me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can listen to Iron Maiden now. I can respect, but
Yeah.
like just I was still young, dumb, and angry. You know, I
Yeah.
didn't like stuff. You know, so touring with Iron Maiden was a cool opportunity, but it wasn't cool for the band. The tour was sold out before we were announced. Then
Sure.
so and it was dude fest. It's just we call Dick
Right.
Dick Soup, all guys. And Iron Maiden in Europe is a massive force of people. And
Yeah.
when we would come out, they would. Let me explain it. So it was 2 months with all the festivals mixed in. So you play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, awesome festival. Everybody loves you. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're playing just with Iron Maiden in an arena in Austria.
Right.
They fucking hated us. I'm talking throwing garbage, stomping their feet louder than the band could play. Something I've never seen. 30 rows of people turning their back, locking arms, making a middle finger wall, just stomping "fuck you" and chanting "Maiden, Maiden, fuck you," louder than us, and it just made us madder. And
Right.
I let it bother me the first week. I remember
Yeah.
calling my mom. We had to go
Yeah.
nobody had cell phone. I had to go to the production office and tell them I had an emergency. And I'm calling my mom going, I think I want to come back home. I don't know if I like this. They fucking hate us. You just hang in there. You'll be all right. And I don't know. I took a week of abuse with Iron Maiden, and one night me and Joey were up drinking, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna Bugs Bunny these fuckers. I'm gonna come out and fuck with them. And I was like, all these people in the front row flipping me off. I'm like, I'm gonna start blowing kisses at them. I'm gonna start fucking with them. What? It don't matter, you know.
Yeah.
And when I came out with that attitude, and when I say the Bugs Bunny, I made a sign. Remember, he would do that sign. It'd go, "Silly, isn't he?" with the point.
Yep. Yep.
It was like I would make these signs that would say like, "You want me." Like I'd find the one dude that was just doing this the most, and I'd be like, I'd point him out, and I'd the solo. The guys doing the solo. I'd be like, "You want me?" And I just go, and I'd point the sign, and and I'd play with them, man. It was awesome, and
That is
the
awesome.
crowd started, and the crowd started liking us.
Yeah.
I told this on Jason's story because we had a guy from the heavy metal parking lot.
Yep.
Joey and someone had brought us a VHS of the heavy metal parking lot, and we watched it, and he would laugh his ass off at the guy that would go, "Fucking heavy metal rules, fuck all that glam shit, fucking sucks." Like, and we like memorized the speech, and
Yeah.
I would do it, and just we'd crack each other up doing it. And we were playing in Croatia with Iron Maiden by themselves, and man, they were ready to kill us. And we were about to walk on stage, and I told Joey, I said, "I think I'm going to heavy metal parking lot it." And he goes, "What does that mean?" I went, "Just listen." And so we come out, we play we do 3 songs. We'd always come out, we'd always wear cool jackets, and no matter how hot it was, we wear leather jackets the first 3 songs. Have to.
Yeah.
If you're not, you're a pussy.
Yeah.
So took the jacket off, and I remember I was scouting the crowd, and I'm thinking, how am I going to make these people like me? Because they fucking hate my guts. But I saw a dude wearing a King Diamond shirt. He wears makeup. I see a Wasp shirt. I see an Alice Cooper shirt. I'm starting to do the math. I'm like, oh, I see a Kiss shirt. I'm like, all right, what's my speech going to be? Fucking heavy metal rules. Fuck all that other bullshit. Fucking King Diamond. Fucking Wasp. Fucking, and I named all the bands on the t-shirts. And everybody went crazy. And I was like, and I looked over at Jordison, and he was just, dude, he was laughing. That smile, just like, he was just like, holy shit, did heavy metal parking lot just save our ass? And it did. And I did it, and it worked. The rest of we had the 30, 40-minute set. We killed it the rest of the night. I had them doing everything.
Right.
Put your hands up, scream, blah, 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 and it was like, walked off stage, like, every night you do heavy metal parking lot. Every night. And I went, okay. And that became a cool thing that we did. And then after that Iron Maiden tour, he went back to Slipknot. And I'm like, I'm not going to fucking go back to work. Fuck that. And I started writing music. And I was still really friendly with the A&R guy, Monty Connor, who's a legend at Roadrunner, or was at Roadrunner. And I sent him just like shitty demos. And he's like, "Wednesday, I love this." He goes, I don't think they'll put it out. It's not up to me. Okay. And I was like, "But I'm still signed to you guys." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "If you get another record deal, bring it to us, whatever. We got first right of refusal. We'll sign you out of it, whatever." And I don't even know how it happened. It wasn't even a week or two. I get some random call from the catalog company, Ryko Disc. You probably have some CDs. They put up David Bowie and Zappa. And the guy that owned it was like, "Hey man, I love Frankenstein Drag Queens. I have all your albums. Do you own all your stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, in the States I do." I was like, he's like, "We want to put a box set out and any footage you got." And I went, "Cool. Do you want a Wednesday 13 solo record too?" And he went, "Sure." And I went, "Well, I'm still signed to Roadrunner." And I was like, "They owe me 60 grand out of this deal. Can you write me something higher or whatever?" And okay, what do you, and I think they offered me like 75,000, which that was a lot of money for me, and I went and I took it to Roadrunner and showed Monty, and he took it to the owner, and they called me back and said, "Yeah, we're going to do your solo record."
Okay.
So that's how I got my deal. They didn't want to get rid of me.
I want to go back, like when you're on the road with the Murderdolls.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a sense of pressure because if you were slugging it out in the clubs with these bands, never getting where you wanted to go, now you got your big chance? Is there a part of you that's like, don't fuck this up? And then what am I gonna do when he goes back to Slipknot?
I think I only thought about what am I gonna do when he goes back to Slipknot. I
Okay.
didn't think about really fucking it up.
Okay.
I'm telling you, Murderdolls first lineup, we were everything you read in the dirt times 10. That was our Bible.
Now
We did that was what we did. All of us. We were, that's what we did. And
I saw in
drinking.
an
Yeah.
I saw in an interview that you said you didn't drink until you were hanging out with Joey Jordison. Is that
Yeah.
true?
That's
So
true. When I was
okay.
playing, as the bass player, I came in. He goes, "Oh, by the way," because he comes in with a 6-pack and a fucking bottle of Crown Royal, and I'm like, he goes, "Do you drink?" And I went, "No, I drink Kool-Aid." And he goes, "You're shitting me." And I went, "I don't drink." And he goes, I said, "Well, I think I had like that Boone's Farm stuff. It kind of tastes like Kool-Aid." And he got in his car and he went to the store and he came back with 2 bottles of Boone's Farm and put it on my bass amp and goes, "Let's party." And I went, "All right." And we jammed and we had fun. And I played a show as the bass player in the Rejects, but
Okay.
that started it. But when we started doing promo for the record, we came out to LA doing the photo for Metal Edge and stuff. They took me to Crazy Girls, a strip club, and they probably spent $100 just trying drinks. Well, try this. It's gross. I was being a pussy about it.
Yeah.
And I think I finally went, "Oh, sex on the beach, it sounds pretty good." And I drank a bunch of those, enough till I was vomiting.
Right.
So I was a really bad drinker until we got to Germany and I discovered Jägermeister. And I could somehow tolerate it. And I thought it made me a cooler, sociable person. And it just, I found my drink. That was my
Yep.
drink. And
Yep.
I held on to that, and then I think once I was a pretty good drinker with that, and then I moved on to rum, and then it was a rum guy for a long time, and I would always do Jaeger just as shots mainly later. I'm still drinking
yeah.
rum, but yeah, give me a shot of that. I'll cross the streams, and then I think around 2006. I went through my outlaw country phase, and I had my country band Bourbon Crow that I did,
Yep.
and I went for the whiskey, and
Yeah.
and that became my favorite, and that was pretty much my choice was Jack Daniels all the way, pretty much all the time.
And then you guys were on Dawson's Creek. Like how did that come about?
The producer of that show, who I found out just recently, wrote the Scream, the latest Scream movie. Like, I don't know if he
Okay.
did how many of those he did, but he's the writer director of that. He was a big fan, and he called our manager and said, "Hey, there's a Halloween episode, and Dawson's at a Halloween party, and we think we're gonna have the Murderdolls in the background playing." And we're like,
Okay.
"Cool." And they flew us down, and we filmed it, and they used 4 of our songs, and they played a lot of it. And I had to sign up for the SAG and everything, I got my first ASCAP check from Dawson's Creek for like 15 grand for being on that show. I couldn't believe it, dude. It was crazy,
Yeah.
not bragging on numbers like that, but it was crazy money back
No
then.
shit.
Like
Yeah.
fucking Dawson's Creek, that's crazy.
Hell yeah.
And then also that year we did we were on Top of the Pops before that show closed out.
Right.
We did that. We covered the Billy Idol White Wedding, and that blew up. And Joey was forced back into Slipknot again, which is why I did my solo deal. So,
Okay. You had
sorry,
mentioned
I'm jumping all over the place.
No.
Yeah.
And shit, I love it. So I'll just interject here and there, but I love what you're doing. It's awesome.
I think it's making sense, but it's just kind of it's like
Totally.
Pulp Fiction, guys. Just maybe go back and forth.
Totally. You had mentioned rehearsing next to Poison when Murderdolls was that on the first Murderdolls or the
First
second
tour.
Murder?
Yeah.
First tour.
Yes.
So you're in Murderdolls rehearsing next to Poison. Did you get to interact with them? Because
Yeah, you
you're
know what?
obviously a huge
If you hold
fan.
on a second,
No, good.
I've got photos of that.
Shit, yes.
Yeah, I was looking for a reason to show those.
Hell yeah.
Where, yeah, check this out.
And holy shit, I love your house. Holy
Thank you.
shit.
This is my this is just one of my rooms. This is all the He-Man, GI
Yeah,
Joe. This is all He-Man, GI Joe, and then it kind of turns into Buck Rogers, Land of the
right?
Lost, and then over here is everything from Rambo to Swamp Thing to
Yep,
Predator. It's, yeah,
yep.
I'm an adult.
Awesome.
I'll be 50 in August.
Hey man, I'm
But
53, so
there,
I
check it
can
out.
relate.
There's me and Brett Michaels.
Oh, no shit. Hell yes.
That was the last day of rehearsal.
Badass.
Um,
Right?
so yeah, we were there. We rehearsed for a week, and the first day, honestly, I don't even remember where it was. 'Cause I'm
Yep.
still in my way around LA, and I've been here for 15 years, 16 years now. Um, but we were rehearsing, and we finished a song, and I heard bum 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 bum, and I said, "Oh man, we got a Poison cover band next door." And our
Right.
tech goes, no, we don't. We actually got Poison next door. And I went, you're fucking kidding me.
Right.
And I literally just ran out the door and just stood by their door and was listening. I was like, holy shit, how cool is that? I'm going to meet these guys. Yeah, I
Right.
wrote them when I was, oh shit, I lost you there. Sorry. Here we are.
No,
Are you there?
nope.
All right.
Yep.
Sorry.
I see you. We're all
My
good.
phone, everyone keeps calling me.
Yep.
Ricky Rocket's first one comes out, and I'm wearing a horror movie shirt, and he's like, "Man, awesome shirt." And I had like my horror movie tattoos, and he started talking about them, and we started because I remember in the Poison video he had a Predator shirt on, and I always thought Ricky was cool because he had the Predator
Hell
shirt
yeah.
on.
Hell yeah.
And we immediately started talking about horror, and I was like, "Man, it's cool to meet you. I'm in the Murderdolls." He goes, "Oh, I saw you guys in Metal Edge. That's cool. You heard about us? That's cool, you know." And CC comes out, and he's CC. Oh man, how's it going? You guys are crazy. I fucking love it. Hearing our guitar, and then him and AC's geeking out over guitar gear. And I remember AC telling him, this is one of the best CC quotes of all time. AC goes, "Yeah, man, I really kind of like this. I like my tone to be between like Andy McCoy and maybe like and he's And then he goes, "What do you like?" And he goes, "I just want my fucking guitar to sound like a goddamn chainsaw, a fucking chainsaw." I'm just like, man, this is awesome.
You do
You know,
fucking great impersonation.
Yeah, so that was his chainsaw thing, and then so I every day we would jam, and we had a hangout room, so
Yep.
we would all kind of hang out, and I would sit in the room, and Ricky'd have lunch, and we'd talk, and tell stories, and then like one day Ricky came in, he goes, "Hey, I brought you something from the house," and Ricky was doing like artwork stuff years ago. He would like airbrush toilet seats, and he brought me a Frankenstein toilet seat that he airbrushed. He goes, "Man, I thought about you at the house, and I want you to have this because you're a big fan." And I was like, "No way, this is the coolest thing." So I had to go from America to Japan to Europe with Iron Maiden, all the way back with that toilet seat in my luggage
Right.
because I didn't think about mailing it home. But we became friends, and I took a picture with Brett. I probably have one with the other guys somewhere too.
Yeah.
It was CC's birthday that night, and his other quote. He came and goes, guys, come in here. Have some of my birthday cookie. He had first time I ever saw a birthday cookie. And I was like, that's cool, man. I want to have your cookie. He goes, "I would be fucking offended if you didn't eat my fucking cookie. I'll eat your fucking cookie." And so, that was our Poison thing. And then we went on tour with Iron Maiden, and I came home, and Poison was on tour with Skid Row and Vince Neil.
Yeah.
They were just coming through. And I hit up Ricky and said, "Hey, you guys are playing my Coliseum. Can I come out?" And he's like, "Fuck yeah, dude. I'll get Big John to come get you."
Yeah.
And Big John comes and gets me and my wife and takes us backstage and all access and everybody. This is Wednesday. Do you want anything? But yes, I do. Here, but there's a, you want any food? Everybody's cool. It was Ricky and Brett in the room, and I hung out with them. And Bobby and Cece were separated. They were separated, not in a room.
Yep.
And we're on the side of the stage where like the keyboard guy hangs out. That's stage left, and while Cece's doing his guitar solo, Big John comes up and whispers. He goes, "Ricky wants you to come out and sing Rock and Roll All Night with him tonight." And I went, I froze, dude. I was so scared. I don't know. And my wife became my high school girlfriend. You better be in that band. That was my wife.
No shit. You guys were still together. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not anymore. But
right.
She did it again. She goes, "Yes, you better go do it." And I went, "Okay." And I'm standing there, and Brett, I've tried to find a YouTube video. I'll send it to you when I find it. But there's a cool shot of it, a full angle shot where Brett, he's like, everybody, they're playing the beginning. It's the drum, beginning of Rock and Roll All Night. And he goes, "All right, everybody, we're going to bring out a local guy. He's doing really well right now. We want to bring out Wednesday 13." And I didn't hear him even say any of that. And I'm just over there going, and he doesn't see me. And I hear him go, "Where the fuck's this guy at?" And I come walking out, but I tried to walk out cool,
Right.
And Bobby Dahl that day, they introduced me to him, but he didn't act like he wanted to meet anybody. He was kind of very standoffish.
Sure.
But when I walked up to his mic, he put his arm around me like we were best friends, and I was like, okay, because I took his mic to sing,
Right.
and and dude, and my adrenaline's going, and my voice is like, when I come out, I go for it.
Yep.
And my adrenaline's going. I don't think Brett was even ready for it. I saw him pop back from that monitor. "You show us everything." And I was doing the Gene, and he was like, "Damn." And dude, it was awesome. I was singing at an arena at the Greensboro, North Carolina arena, and confetti's flying out of the ceiling. It was just like watching them on the New Year's thing when in 80, it's fucking crazy. And I walked off. I'm like, I can't believe this happened, So that's my Poison story. And I just saw Ricky last week at Monster Palooza, and we're still friendly. And it's been awesome.
To go from them sending you a letter to being up on stage with them, that's got to be insane.
It's crazy, and I forget about some of this stuff sometimes. So that's why it's cool to talk to you about this, because that's why I'm all over the place, because I don't. It's all in waves, and it's kind of cool remembering some of this shit. But also in this book, I think I've got those Hanoi pictures too. I believe they're in here. I hope they're in here.
I'm talking to Sammy Yaffa tomorrow.
Dude, that was awesome. I got to tour with Michael Monroe later on, which we can get to as well. I don't know if I have those Hanoi pictures. Yeah, I should have these Hanoi pictures. Where are you, Hanoi Rocks? Oh, here they are. Here they are. Oh, I already had them out.
Oh, can you slide it over?
Oh, sorry.
The other way.
Yeah. There we go.
Right.
So there we go. All right, sorry.
No? Oh, shit, yes. Oh, that's badass. Andy McCoy and Michael Monroe. Holy balls.
Yep. So
that's fucking awesome.
That one. And then They Loved Us. And then Andy McCoy comes over with Joey with a giant bottle of Jack Daniels.
Hell yeah.
And he's like, hell yeah. And they drank all night.
Right.
And that was the show. That's a photo of the show we played.
Holy shit.
But check this out, though. Here's one more picture, though. Murderdolls we played 2 shows with them. We played Osaka and Tokyo.
Right.
So by Osaka, we were best friends. Well, at least I thought.
Right. Oh man.
So check it out. So Hanoi was the they were on the headlining bill under Guns N' Roses. And that's why I was so excited when I got there. Like, because we were on the main stage. It was on the poster, I'm like, hey, we're on the same stage. We get there, I meet Hanoi Rocks, and I go, man, I can't wait to see you guys. That stage is our crowds, they're ready for you. And he goes, we're not playing that stage. And I went, really? Why not? He said, Axel had us kicked off of it. And I said, what? I thought you guys were buddies. He goes, I thought so too. He goes, I guess when Hanoi Rocks is not a band, he likes us. But when we are, he doesn't. And that's all he said. And I was like, ooh, gossip.
Holy shit.
So
That's-
Hanoi Rocks had to move to the indoor stage that only
Right.
held 10,000 people.
Holy.
Instead of the picture I show you,
Yeah.
if you plainly see, holds a lot more than that
Yeah.
is. That's I mean, I think 30,000 people by the time that's 2:00 in the
Yeah.
afternoon.
Right.
But the
Holy.
Hanoi picture, and this is how awful pictures are back then. But that's me and Joey pointing. Michael Monroe's in the background. He's
right.
climbing. He's climbing a wall over here, right there.
Right.
We're like, there he is.
Hell yes. Oh my
But-
God.
But we got to see the shows and everything was awesome but I was like, man, that was just the first little gossip I heard. But obviously they've worked shit out. Everything is
Yeah.
cool. But I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting to hear that, you know.
Hell no.
Oh, and looking through those pictures, check it out. This is awful, but 1 year for Christmas I asked for a bass because I couldn't play guitar at first, and I went, well, bass has got 4 strings, so I want a bass. And they got me, my parents don't know what they're buying, so they got me this shitty looking 70s bass. But check out the posters in the background.
Oh my. Oh, holy. Yep.
There's Tough.
There's Tough.
There's
No shit.
And the Toxic Avenger right beside of them.
Right.
And there's a Poison and a
Oh
Motley
yeah.
Crue.
I see the Poison. The top.
If you look in LA Guns, Kiss is in there. I see Dangerous Toys over here on the over here at Every Mother's Nightmares back there.
Oh shit. Yes.
Brittany Fox, and the giant big stereo is that everyone that should have had it back in the
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
But and look what and I'm wearing the Tough shirt that Stevie mailed me.
Oh, that is the Tough shirt. Shit. I always wanted one of those.
Yeah, that was before the album came out. So
Right.
that's me at I had to be 12 there, maybe 11. What
Right.
year was it? 90? It was before the album.
The album
what
came out
comes
in
around.
91. So
that would've
maybe
been
that's
90. I was
Right.
born in 76, so I'm 14 there.
Right.
Yeah. So
When you were talking about getting Roadrunner at you're signed to Roadrunner through Murderdolls, and
Yes.
then you ask them if they want a solo album. They're like, probably not. Ryko Disc makes you an offer. They're like,
Yep.
shit, we want to put out Frankenstein Drag Queens. We'll put out a Wednesday 13 solo album. Was there any thought of going, well, screw you, Roadrunner? You turned me down in the first. These guys fucking want me. Did you ever think about going to Ryko Disc?
No, because Ryko Disc was a catalog label.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, what they were doing, it was really cool. They were going to restart Restless Records. Remember
Okay.
Restless Records? I think Zeros were on Restless Records.
Okay. I love the Zeros. I
Yeah,
remember
that's
that
another
name.
one of my favorite bands.
Love the
And so I think they were going to restart Ryko Disc as Frankenstein Drag Queens was re-released on Restless Records
Okay.
with a different logo, but it was rebought from the company or whatever. But I love the team at Roadrunner.
Yeah.
Like their PR team, their Monty was cool.
Yeah.
I already knew everybody. It was I didn't want to switch camps, It was
Yeah.
like, so
Start all over, build
yeah,
those
so-
relationships.
yeah.
Yep.
So it was just I went perfect. You guys let's just do it. And I thought, we just carry on from the steam of Murderdolls and fingers crossed this is going to work,
So I bought the Murderdolls because I was like, nobody else is doing something that's remotely glam back in the day.
Beautiful
Back at-
Creatures beat us about a year before
Beautiful-
that, and then
Right.
Buck Cherry, and then Murderdolls.
Right. But you guys were going over the top with the image. And
Yep.
so anyway, you start, tell me about recording Transylvania 90210 as the first Wednesday 13 solo album. Because here, and I'm being repetitive with this question, but are you feeling pressure now? Because you're like, okay, This is me on my own. It's all on me. It's not attached to Joey Jordison. If this fails, it's my fault. Do you feel pressure going into that?
Not at all. When I got
Oh,
that record deal, that might have been the best fuck you to like just getting signed to Murderdolls was cool, but
yep.
getting a solo deal off of a side project was like, yeah, this is
Right.
it felt good. I didn't feel any fear at all. In fact, it lifted me up. I was all the song, and that's still one of my favorite records that I've ever
Oh,
released. From
yeah.
and it's fan favorites as well. Like those
Yep.
songs came out like that, dude. They were like so easy for me, and it was such a natural. I was just so creative in my mind at that point, and I went and recorded in the same place Frankenstein Drag Queens did. Paid for it myself. Recorded, had the whole thing recorded. I didn't know how to mix. My guy didn't know how to mix something that would sound like the way the Murder Dolls album sounded. So, so I had the record recorded off the demos. I gave it to Roadrunner, and they were like, "Love the songs, but we got to get somebody to mix this." You know, so have your
Mhm.
guys send the Pro Tools. I'm like, we didn't use Pro Tools. We use XR79.210. What? So we had to track down what machine this guy had, but Roadrunner hired this dude named Colin Richardson, who became a massive like producer engineer. He produced Slipknot, Machine Head, like around 2005 or six. Right after he mixed my record, he became
Right.
lots of money. He went from
Right.
charging me 15 grand to charging 150 grand kind of
Right.
thing to even get on the phone with him. And
Right.
so he took that recording from that studio, mixed it, and I'll never forget. I was having a Halloween party a couple days before Halloween because I was leaving for a tour, and I got an email of the first mix of the first song I heard was "Rot for Me," and I remember just putting it on my stereo, and it just dude, blew me away. I was like, "Oh my god, this sounds so heavy. It's better produced than Murder Dolls. It's like this is yes, 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 yes. This went from good to really good." And dude, it I was so excited, but at the same time, not in the mindset that I am now. Like I'm so focused on shit now. I think
Yeah.
about everything. I make sure I go to bed if I got a big show.
Yep.
Back then I didn't give a fuck. I was living it up, and yes, yes, this is happening. Okay, let's get drunk while we're doing it. You know, that's just how I did. So I really didn't think the way I think now. I don't know
Did
if
it
I would.
ever go?
I don't know if I would change that at all because that
Yeah.
made me who I am. You know.
And we've talked a little, we both kind of went through our alcohol phase and now trying to, but did it ever go much beyond alcohol with you and other
No,
shit?
never,
Okay.
never. I
Okay.
never ever touched drugs, and I have been offered by the best.
Oh,
I will say that. I mean, by the best. I mean, to go, man. I did cocaine with this guy.
right.
I did coke.
Right.
I I wish I had that story, but I had the story of
Yeah.
saying I could have
Right.
did cocaine, but
Right.
no, I never did. I've always been terrified of it. I've only been a drinker, and that's only been my thing that I've ever had a struggle with, or something that became a crutch that I thought made me better. You know.
I think when I was into murder, I got the Murder Dolls album. I love the image. I didn't remember learning much about you until Transylvania 90210. I remember hearing, I walked with a zombie, and I'm not just saying this. I go, what the fuck is this? Like, this is rock and roll that I can get behind in the
Yeah, thank you.
2000s. Then I get the album, and I'm like, look what the bats dragged in. That guy obviously is referencing Poison.
Yep.
And then Bad Things I just played on Rock 101
Yeah,
KLOL. So
thank you.
anyway, like that
Yeah,
album,
that's
like
my rock you like a hurricane.
hell yes. So how you put that album out? Like, how did the tour go for that record? Did you feel like okay, I can do this as a solo artist once that album came out and you went on the road?
It went from bad to really good
Okay.
because I started off doing club shows. I did a club show in North Carolina, and North Carolina still to this day. I wish it's just not the greatest. It wasn't the greatest.
Yep.
But once the label got behind us, the record came out. They actually gave us tour support, which is
Okay.
unheard of these days for a band like that. They gave us a little bit of tour support,
Yep.
and I had a killer agent who's still a killer agent to this day. He got me on every major festival in Europe. So I did a 6-week tour of Europe, and in between the festivals, I did headline dates. And we played Download, Rock and Ring, Rock and Park, every major festival that you hear about, Sweden Rock, all that stuff. Norwegian Wood, we went everywhere. And it was awesome. And it seemed like a killer reaction. The UK loved us. They were still hot off the Murderdolls. They were still embracing it, but it wasn't as strong as Murderdolls. I instantly could feel, because Murderdolls at one point in England, we were like the Beatles there. It was, we got in the middle of Piccadilly Circus and fans were rocking our van, almost knocked it over because they couldn't get into the in store. It was
Right.
crazy stuff, So it wasn't like that, but it was still, we were playing. I just found the Download Festival. It was like Wednesday 13 and Megadeth and it was the weirdest lineup. But we played with we played some cool shows. We played with on that tour. We played a lot of shows where Manson headlined, and it was Wednesday 13, Mastodon, Turbo Negro, and the Hives, and some other band, and then Nightwish, and then Manson every night. So that was sort of the lineup. Became good friends with Mastodon during that time. We're drinking buddies. And it was a good time. And then I came back to America, and in Europe, I toured in the tour bus. In America, I had to get the van and trailer and punk rock it. And I did that up until probably 2015, where we were doing van tours. So 10 years of going back to vans in America. I was lucky enough still to this day to be able to do a tour bus in Europe. And, that's how it's been. And in America, I've upgraded to a bandwagon. Still have upgraded to a bus because I still don't want to pay those prices. I think it's insane. Sure. But yeah, I've slowly kept it going, and I've developed a cool career for myself in the music business. And I do these horror conventions. I'm sorry, my phone keeps blowing up with people. I do these horror conventions now, and I see all these. I'm getting connected with movie people and all these T-shirt companies that I spend money on are like, hey, you should wear our shirts and tag us, and I'm like, yes, So it's just it's really cool, and I've always had the idea of hopefully one day making a monster movie, and I'm meeting all these people that want to do it, so it's literally I was a big dreamer, a big believer in dreams, and I literally would sit around, going back now in time, but like before I knew how to play, before I got this bass picture, before I got that, I used to sit in my room in front of that stereo with a set of headphones, and I would listen to. I remember one summer I had Spread Eagle, I had Child's Play, and I had Sweet FA's first album. And I would listen to it on cassette, and I would just lay there in front of it with a pillow, and I'd close my eyes, and I just imagined I was on stage playing. I dreamed it, I literally dreamed what I'm doing, and it's crazy that I was able to do that and still do that to this day. And and people say, well, you've been doing this a long time. How do you keep doing it? And I think it's because. Even though, I'm happy with everything I've done, I feel like I've never made it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So when you've never made it, you've still got the drive.
Yep.
And I think that's why I've stayed driven with everything I've done, is because I'm always looking for the next level. I'm not happy. I'm never happy with that level. I always know that there's, and so I think that's the secret of why I'm able to do what I do and still have fun with it,
This is going to sound stupid, and I hate making interviews about me because it's not, but I feel the same, like I've already done shit and talked to people that 20 years ago, I would have been like, are you crazy? Like I talked to Stevie Rochelle or Bobby
Yeah.
Blotzer, but I'm still like, you're like, well, what's the next thing I can get to? What's the
Yeah,
next level? Or
it inspires you. You see
yeah,
that you can do things, and it's just I don't know. It's just you know what I'm talking about. It
yep,
really is powerful to dream these things and think these things, and then it turns into reality, and you're like, holy shit, and it's still happening to this day. I'm still getting phone calls and things, and I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like
yep,
next year, I can't talk about it, but I have so much cool stuff coming next year that's going to blow
yep.
people's minds.
Amazing. Um, you put out Bang Bang in '06,
Hmm.
Skeletons in '08, but I think at the end of recording Skeletons, you got into a pretty bad car wreck.
Oh, I got
Yep.
into a yeah, I got my car wreck and my DUI.
Okay.
That was when I got slapped on the wrist, and
Okay.
you would have think I learned my lesson, but I didn't.
Right.
I did for a bit. I got
Yep.
sober for a bit. But to take you back to it, I was finishing the Skeletons record. I literally finished the last vocal track. The guy gave me the hard drive. It wasn't on Pro Tools rig or Sage. He gave me one hard drive. Don't lose this thing. It's the only copy you got. Okay. And that night, my country band was doing a warm up show at this country bar, and I drove my truck down to South Carolina. 'Cause I lived like on the border,
Yep.
and we just started drinking and partying. And in the middle of that Bourbon Crow show, I literally I nodded out. That's how drunk I was.
Yep.
Just completely nodded out. So I'm wasted at 8 p.m. Uh, McDonald's next door. They slam a 20-piece McNugget down my throat. Get this guy some food, some water, get him full of sun, shake him up, get
Yep.
him together. My friend takes me back to his house, and I go to sleep for a few hours, and I wake up, and honestly, I feel better. But,
Yep.
I'm an idiot, and I'm not thinking about anything, and I'm just like, oh fuck, man! I gotta get home, man. My wife is going to kill me if I'm late. I got to get my daughter to school. I'm literally not thinking that I'm drunk. I'm literally thinking I
Right.
woke up. I've had McDonald's. I'm good. I'm good. I got this.
Yep.
And I'm driving home on the interstate, and my friend's house is in the middle of nowhere, and I get lost, and I'm going literally towards South Carolina, not toward North Carolina. And I don't really know what happened. I feel in my brain, I think someone ran me off to the road, but I was going so fast when I went to the right, I was going onto an exit curve, and it was one of those 20, 15 miles an hour, and I was going like 30, and I just lost it, and I was flipping, and I was just holding on for dear life, and it fucking stopped, and I was like, okay, you're good, you're good. Here, and I undo the seatbelt, and I realize I'm sideways in my truck. I undo my seatbelt, I fall the way it was laying. I fall immediately to the ground, and all the windows are spider webbed. I can't get in. I can't get out. How am I going to crawl out of this fucking thing? And people are pulling off the highway. Are you okay? And the car's smoking. I was going through a Slayer phase, and I had Slayer's "Rain and Blood" playing, or War Ensemble was playing actually,
Okay.
and it was still going loud, and everything was smoking, and it was just, and the tires were still going. It was the most metal thing ever, flipping and just hearing metal and hearing Slayer, which made me a big Slayer fan, more of a Slayer fan. And then I somehow climb out of the car, like imagine like a tank. I crawl out, and I follow the curb, and everyone's being sympathetic, like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Because it wasn't like, they didn't know what happened. I just wrecked, and I'm like, "Oh yeah," And at this point, I've got dreadlocks down to my waist. I've got eyeliner on. I'm wearing a T-shirt that has the Coca-Cola logo that says "Drink alcohol." Yeah. And I've got a jean jacket on with leopard print on it, and a big 13 crossbones on the back. And I just, I look like a fucking thug. And, the pedestrians are being sympathetic. Cops show up, and they're like, "Oh, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm not good." And my shoulder hurt. I didn't realize I'd broke my collarbone.
Yeah.
And so it was getting, so I'm like, yeah, and I'm just going, oh, this guy ran me off the road, and blah 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 blah. And then the cop goes, you been drinking? Oh, I mean, yeah, earlier, yeah. I'm totally fine now. All right, we're gonna do a field sobriety test. I'm like, fuck.
Oh shit.
And I had like these big like boots on, and they're called like New Rock boots that I wear, and they were just these big combat boots. They had a platform on them,
Right.
and I had also hurt my ankle when I fell out of the truck, and so when it came time to do the 10 to 10 toe steps, I was like, can I take these boots off? And then the cops started being dickheads and one of them, no, you can't, rock star. And I'm like, oh, here we go. So I was fucked. And
Yeah.
they took me in cuffs to the hospital. And then they took my blood, and then they took me to jail. And because when I went to jail, they took me up to the front, and they were like, "All right, you got to take all those piercings out." And I'm in a sling. I went to the hospital, got broken collarbone. I'm in a sling. They're like, "All
Yeah.
right, now you go to jail. Take all your piercings out." And in the middle of me taking my piercings out, I don't know. I passed out. I completely blacked out, fell down, and luckily I did that. They didn't put me in general population with everybody like on
Right.
like on Stir Crazy, and
Right.
so I had like my own little stall, and I was basically could sit for 8 hours and sober up, and
Right.
I had to call the wife, and which was the worst part of the whole thing. It felt like.
I've been there.
And it was one of those times where you call, you have a collect call from, and real quick I went, I'm in jail, send money. And I knew her response was, you motherfucker. And so she waits, 8 hours. They let me go. I come out. We go pick up my car. And the whole time when I'm sobering up, I'm going, fuck, man. My skeleton's record is in that car. The car's demolished. That record's
Right.
done. There's no copy of it. There was a guitar, an amp. My car was filled full of equipment. I don't know how it didn't crush and kill me.
Right.
And we go to the impound junkyard or whatever to get what's out of my car, and we're driving around, and we pull up to it, and it looked like Godzilla just fucked this thing. And I'm like, oh god. And I walk up to it, and I'm in my sling. I'm like, well, there ain't no way this fucking hard drive is going to be there. And I looked through the window, and it's sitting right where it was. It didn't even move. Covered in glass.
You're like,
Covered in just every like the tempered glass. And I'm still thinking, man, maybe it's just someone said it there. It's still probably flipped around. It's all fucked. Oh god. And it wasn't. And I was and that album survived, and I did too somehow. And so I got sober for 6 months maybe, and then I was on tour, and I got bored and went back to it, and stayed in the drinking game up until probably 2018. So
yeah.
and then I went 4 years, fell off the wagon during the pandemic, and now I'm back 3 years sober again.
Good for.
So,
I mean, congrats.
Work in progress.
Hell yeah. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. And thank you for your time. I hope I'm not taking too.
Dude, you're good. You're good. I figured we were going to chat a lot, so I hope I'm not talking forever. But
No
yeah,
shit.
Yeah.
So okay. So I'm gonna get to that. But so after that record in 2010, you get back together with Joey for the second Murderdolls album, Women
Right.
and Children Last. Were
Yes.
you like, fuck yeah, let's do the Murderdolls? Or were you like, I don't know, I'm establishing myself as Wednesday 13. What did you think?
Well, actually, after 2008 into 2009, we got the Hanoi Rocks tour,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this fucking.
Oh shit, yes. Shit, yes.
So we got the farewell
Oh.
tour of Japan with Hanoi Rocks. I don't know how many dates it was. It may be 7 dates that we did in Japan, which is a lot for us. So,
Hell yeah.
so Wednesday 13 was doing Skeletons tour. On that year, we played the famous Astoria venue in London, London, UK, and my agent booked Hanoi Rocks and me. And he was like, he knew I was such a fan, and he came up with me with the crazy idea. And he was like, "Hey, I've got you booked Halloween night, headlining the Astoria." I was like, "That's too big for me." He goes, "I know, but Hanoi Rocks is going to open for you." And I was like, "Why?" And he's and you're froze up, by the way. I don't know
Oh
why.
shit.
Oh, there you go. You're back. You're back.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
All
We're
right.
good.
And he was like, "Why?" And he said because Hanoi Rocks hasn't been around in years, and they've only toured Japan, and UK wasn't a strong market. So, uh, do you want to do it? And we were also Hanoi was on the same European label as My Skeleton's release, so we had connections, and
Yep.
and uh,
Yep.
so I'm like, "Are you serious?" Absolutely, yes. Hanoi Rocks
Yep.
can open for Wednesday 13. Are you fucking kidding me? So talk about emotional show. That's probably the most emotional show. Like just as a fan, like I remember crying in the
Oh,
balcony watching them play. Like just going, they're opening for me. This is fucking crazy. But I was really respectful, and I still didn't feel right for them opening for me. Like even to the day of the show, I was like, this ain't right.
right.
And they were like, it is right. And I went, well, look, we're striking everything because they're getting the full fucking stage.
Yeah.
And my band guys were like, well, we're going to, I was like, I don't care. Set it back up.
Yeah.
I'm giving them the fucking stage.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting up in the balcony. It was sold out in advance. I wish there's a picture somewhere of the marquee of Wednesday 13 Hanoi Rock sold out. And they tore that down like not long after that. That whole street's gone now. There's Mean
Oh
Fiddler and
shit.
Astoria, like legendary shows were done there. That's the
Yeah.
whiskey and the rainbow like combined. Like it's a um, so that was my relationship with Hanoi. And then after that, Hanoi went to Japan, and my agent goes, "You should take Wednesday 13." And Michael's like, "Yeah, that'd be great." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah." So when I went to Japan, Hanoi Rocks at this point is Michael, Andy, and Connie Bloom
Yep.
from Electric Boys.
Yep.
And the bassist, I forget his name, and the drummer was a newer guy. I don't believe he was the original drummer. So basically, it was Electric Boys and Hanoi Rocks, which I'm
Yep.
like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is, 'cause I love the Groovis Maximus
Yep.
record by Electric Boys a lot.
Yep.
So I'm excited to be playing with Hanoi. Japan is the most amazing place to ever tour and visit. And so when we got there, we're a four piece. I'm playing guitar and singing. I'm not just the front guy because once my collarbone healed, I went back to guitar.
Yep.
Plus, it was expensive. We weren't making a ton of money, so I'm like, we'll be four piece. So when we were opening for Hanoi, we did great in Japan. But I watched them play every night, and I went, man, I want a band like this. I want to be a front guy like that. I
Yeah.
want a guitar player like that. I love my guys, but man, we're not, that's what I dreamed. This is what I got.
Yep.
I'm still dreaming. And when I came home from that tour, I called my manager and I said, I got to do something different. And he goes, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to start a rock band. I don't want to be the goth rock guy anymore. And I put a band together called Gunfire 76.
Yes.
And I was working with Todd Youth, who was Degeneration, Dropkick Murphys, in the beginning. And he wrote half of that album with me before him and my manager had a falling out, and he didn't play on the record, but I still recorded the record.
Right.
So I went back even more backtracking because I had to restart as a brand new band. And I went on tour as America. I went to the UK, and everything was, 100 people if I was lucky. But
Sure.
the band I put together was badass, and I was a front guy, and I was trying to be Michael Monroe as much as I could, but still do my thing. And I had, a killer bassist. I had Rob Hammersmith, who plays for Skid Row, on drums.
Yeah.
I had a killer bassist and guitar player that was from a Canadian band called Econoline Crush.
Yep.
If
I
you
know
remember
them.
their name.
Yep.
And then I had my guitar player, Ramon, who ended up being in Murderdolls and Wednesday up till recently. And we had a killer band, but nobody cared about it. And so in the middle of doing that, we were at a Motel 6 one night, and I'm literally sipping on a Jack Daniels bottle watching Hunter, the TV show. and my phone rings and it says Joey Jordison, and I'm sharing a room with my tech because I wasn't getting along with my band guys really, and I'm just
Yep.
like, Joey Jordison's calling me. What the fuck? And he goes, "Well, answer it." Yo, what's up? And he goes, "What are you doing?" I went, "I'm getting wasted." "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm getting wasted." And I went, and I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Man," he goes, "Slipknot's going on a break, and I think I want to do Murderdolls again." And I went, "So do I."
Okay.
And he was like, "I got a couple more commitments, um, but I'll be done in March of 2010." And this was like November 2009.
Yep.
And I was like, "Okay, let's do it." And during this time, me and my high school sweetheart ex-wife had separated, and when Joey had called me back up, her and I were getting back together. She, when we separated, it was probably all because in her mind because of Murderdolls. So to hear that come back up again, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, when she hears about this, that ain't going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
And that was fine with me because my dream was to be in a band. My dream wasn't to be married.
Right.
So uh, I told her, Joey Jordison called me, wants to do Murderdolls. And she said, and she goes, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I was like, "Well, I want to do it. If we argue or whatever, I have an Australia tour. I go to Australia. We do 3 shows. When I do talk to her, we're bitching. You better not do Murderdolls. You better not do Murderdolls." I was like, "Well, I'm probably going to do Murderdolls. Well, you better choose Murderdolls or me." And I said, "I don't think you want to hear that answer." And I hung up. I had a connection in Los Angeles before I went back to North Carolina. All I had was a guitar and a roll-on carry bag. And when I got off the plane, first thing she did was like, "You better not be doing Murderdolls." And I went, "You know what? I am doing Murderdolls, and I ain't coming home ever again. Fuck you. I want to be in a rock and roll band, and I'm going to do it. So later." And I hung up, and I realized, what the fuck did you just do? Like, all you have is a suitcase. What are you going to do? And my only friend was Calico Cooper, who I became good friends with, Alice Cooper. And she was a
Yeah.
good friend of mine. And she let me stay in her lower part of her house. She had like an extra place that Alice would stay at when he would visit.
Sure.
So I stayed at her house while we put Murderdolls together and while we recorded that second record. And then I eventually started dating Calico's friend, and I had to ask Alice Cooper permission for her to stay in the room with me because it was a Christian thing.
Right.
And so I've been through some weird shit. Um, and I recorded that record living at Calico's house, the Cooper house,
Mhm.
and then Murder Dolls. Once we recorded the record, we had the entire year booked. It's like, all right, well, first thing you're going to do is you're going to go on tour with 2 weeks of Guns N' Roses. Okay, which was, and I was holding out laminates here, so we did Guns N' Roses in Europe, main support.
Yeah. Hell
Uh,
yeah.
2 weeks. First thing back with Murder Dolls, it was 2 weeks of Guns N' Roses in arenas, and I already had the phobia of Iron Maiden being mean to us. So when we came out, I was way more focused that time. Still drunk, but more
Right.
focused.
Right.
I was in shape. I had put a new band together. I had became a front man because I was still naked without a guitar for a while, but I was a
Yep.
competent front man. So that second Murder Dolls record, I was a better vocalist. I was a better front man. And we did the Guns N' Roses tour. At the end of the Guns N' Roses tour, we opened for Ozzy, the Ozfest at the O2 Arena, uh, which was insane. That was one of the biggest arena shows I think I've ever done. Then what did we do after that? We
Did
did
you do some Zombie and Alice Cooper?
Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
Look at these laminates. I'm trying to remember my fucking story. So we did that tour.
Badass.
And that was a really cool, to be on tour with those guys. I mean,
Yeah.
that was fucking awesome. And
Yeah.
we were punk rock as fuck. I remember on that tour, one of the most punk rock, and forgive me for doing this, is evil, but I didn't know at first what I was doing. My goal every night when we ended our set with our "I Love to Say Fuck" song, my goal was to get everybody in the place to stand up from the front to the back, and we'd hold that song out as long as we could. And I'd be like, every motherfucker better stand up and put your middle fingers up, and it worked every night. And we were playing this arena one night, and I got everybody up, and I look up in the top or wherever this area is, and nobody's standing up, and I'm like, all right, everybody's standing up except for these pussies over here. These motherfuckers don't want to stand up. Stand up! And they wouldn't fucking stand up. And I keep agging it on. And one of our techs runs up to me and goes, "That's the handicap section." So I'm just like, I went, "Stay where you are." All right. So, but we walked off stage and Joey goes, that was fucking awesome. Do it every night. So I did.
Okay.
So I did. So we were little motherfuckers, and we would do prank stuff backstage with Zombie and Alice, and I think Rob was irritated with us. Alice would just laugh at us, but yeah, we did Alice and Zombie, and then we did Alice and Zombie. Then we went to Australia and did this thing called Soundwave, and then we did a bunch more shows with Rob Zombie, and then we did the Golden God Awards, and we won Best Comeback of the Year band, which I found out was only because the other bands didn't show up. Uh, it was like we won against Faith No More, System of a Down. Like I'm like, of course they did. I was like, yeah, they didn't show up.
Right.
Actually, when we got that award, funny story about that, we were hosting the Golden God Awards, and this is very cool because Alice Cooper was playing with his original band for the first time ever
Right.
since 1974, and Joey and I got to introduce them on stage.
Mhm.
And but before that, once we introduced, before that, they came up to us and they were like, "Hey," because we knew we were up for an award, but our publicist goes, "Okay, when you guys win the award, David Coverdale is going to say your name and then you're going to come out." And I went, "What?" They went, "When you win the award, David Coverdale is going to say your name and you guys are going to walk out." And I went, "We won?" They went, "Yeah, you didn't know?" And I went, "No." Because Joey and I had been drinking all fucking day. We were partying, and we were no. And they were like, "Yeah, David Coverdale is going to introduce you guys and give you the award." And I'm like, "Holy shit!" And he introduces us, and we walk out, and he hugs us and gives me this big award. And Joey and I do a speech. There's a video of it somewhere. I've never seen that. I've seen pictures of it.
Okay.
Then we walk off and take pictures, and David Coverdale shook my hand, and he said to me, "You and me are the classiest dressed people in this whole place." And I said, "I know." So he was super cool. And then I think after that, we did 4 or 5 club shows. And then Slipknot was doing their tribute shows to their bass player who had died.
I was
And
gonna ask when Paul
yeah,
Gray died, like
yeah.
how did Joey? I mean,
Oh,
how did he
it
handle
just
that?
he didn't handle it good at all. I mean, it was
Okay.
horrible. I mean, when Joey came back into Murderdolls, he was very uh, just a different person than like all the years of Slipknot and stuff. And he came back and he didn't pop in the Murderdolls thing right away. It took him a couple of days to get into
Right.
it. But once we got into it, because when he showed up, Joey had brown hair and he had a beard, and I had spiky black hair and eyeliner and was I looked like a rock guy and he looked
Yeah.
like a metal guy. And I
Yeah.
think it bothered him and he just didn't know how to switch gears. So he was frustrated at first. And then, not that we weren't getting along, he was just, I think he had a battle in his head. Like
Yeah.
switching gears, it's hard, you know. Fuck,
Yeah.
when I think about switching gears from, it's tough for me to do that. And
Yeah.
so I can only imagine now. And so he knew we were doing photos. He knew he was going back to his old look. And he shaved, and my friend came over and dyed his hair black. And I'm not even joking, man. He looked in the mirror, and it was Joey was back. He snapped into it, and it was
Right.
crazy.
Right.
And man, we had a blast making that second record, and we were recording that Bloodstained Valentine song, and I played a lot of guitar on that. I wrote all the music for the record, um, and I was used to playing guitar, so I was doing a lot of rhythm stuff, and our guy Rahman, who eventually became in the band, he was just there as my friend. He was my guitar tech on tour, and I somehow convinced the label to pay for him to come videotape us making the record, but mainly just to hang out with and party with me and Joey.
Right.
And so he ended up becoming in the band or whatever. But either way, so Ramon and I are working on this guitar part, and I'm like, and he's playing this part, and I'm like, no, it needs a Mick Mars, it needs like a fucking Looks That Kill, oh, and like this, and I'm playing it, and we had this guy named Sully who was like our tour manager, house manager. He's the greatest guy in the world, and he used to work for Motley. He worked for Motley Crue for like 10 years, and he would always bust our balls, call us "you fucking idiots." And he walked by, and we're working on this song. And he goes, "You fucking idiots! Why don't you just let me call Mick Mars?" And I went, "Yeah, right." He goes, "You don't think I could call Mick Mars?" And I went, "I think he could call Mick Mars." I was like, "But I don't think he wants to play on our record."
Right.
And he walks out of the room and he comes back and said, "He'll be here on Saturday at 4 p.m." And I went,
Wow.
you're fucking kidding me. Saturday at 4 p.m., Mick Mars pulls up with his 20-some-year-old hot girlfriend carrying his guitar case for him. And he
Right.
walks in looking more rock and roll than we ever did. He has a fucking, like, he's wearing platform boots. He's wearing what you saw him wearing Motley Crue, minus that, his top hat. He had the
Right.
smaller hat on.
Right.
Eyeliner. He came in. We had this big table we all ate dinner at, and he sits down at it. And he was nervous. I could tell he was really nervous because because he thought he was an old guy and we're the young guys. We weren't as young
Right.
as he probably thought we were.
Right.
And I can't remember what he did, but he told a really, really offensive joke. Like some people wouldn't laugh at. And we
Right.
all laughed at it. And he went, "Cool, I can work with you. Let's go to the studio." So
Oh
I'm like,
shit.
I love this guy. And,
Right.
and we knew that he had, his disease, and like you can't not notice the way he walks.
Right.
But he's walking in platforms. And when we walked out of our house, there's a pool right there to walk to the studio. And he comes out of this door and he's kind of loses his balance. And me and Joey are like, "Oh fuck." We're like, he doesn't know we're behind him. We're like, "Don't fall in the pool." So we go out to the studio, and he has his Fender, his main guitar, that wood finish guitar that he's played on Dr. Feelgood and everything. And he goes in the room with Ramon, and they've got the four full stacks wide open, and he's doing the wah, wah, kickstart. He's doing tricks because we're nerding out too. And
Did you
then
tell him that Dr. Feelgood was your first big show?
yeah, I later
Yeah.
I later told him that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's getting a tone. We come back in the control room, and he's brought all these pedals, and he's got two wah pedals. And why you brought two wahs? He goes, "Check this out." And he's got these fucking like the 70s New York Doll platforms on. And he goes, "I've been fucking with this thing." So we had sent him two songs, Bloodstained Valentine and Drug Me to Hell was the two songs. Didn't give him a guide or anything.
Yeah.
just said,
Yeah.
do your thing.
Yep.
And he's like, this is what I came up with. And he's doing both of his feet on two walls at the same time, playing this part. And we're like, I've never seen anybody do that, especially in platforms. And it sounded cool as fuck. And I don't know where he came up with. He's like, I was just fucking around with it. And it made this weird echo stereo thing that he did, I think, on the Bloodstained Valentine song. And he played this lead, and I was like, dude, that's awesome. And he's like, I don't really know what to do on this part. And I was like, well, what if you just did the na na na? And he was like, that sounds cool. And I'm humming this part to him, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking music with Mick Mars, and he's playing it. This is fucking crazy, dude. And he's playing the part, and then like and some stuff he would just jam for a bit, and then he told our studio guy, he goes, just cut it up and make something.
Yeah.
And we were like, what? What do you mean? He goes, that's what I've always done. And we're like, what do you mean? And I guess, and I think I've heard a lot of people do this. People just jam and just riff, and these studio guys cut it and piece it together.
Right.
Someone told me Vito Barada had recorded every note singly.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying the studio stuff is crazy, and
Yeah.
so either way, we record the song. Our studio guy kind of chopped up his solo, and we made it what it is.
Right.
And it sounds just like him. It's so fucking cool, and I still love that experience. And we basically spent probably 6 hours with him, and it was awesome. And I thinking back on it, I remember a lot of it, but we were also drunk as hell too.
Yeah.
And when I say drunk, we weren't like falling over, but we were drinking.
Right.
We were partying. When we were all finishing a bottle a day by the time we'd go to bed at night. But we thought we were productive. We were. That record is that. And we had a drinking contest during that recording, because Sum 41 recorded at this studio before we got there.
Oh my God.
They had put all the bottles that they had drank, and they were proud of it. And we walked back there, and Joey pointed at it and went, what is this? And he goes, oh, Sum 41 recorded the record here, and they got drunk the whole time, and that was what they drank. And we're like, we drink that in like 2 days. And Joey's like, we're going to save every bottle that we drink. And we did. And I've got a photo of it. I'll send it to you.
Shit. Please.
Wow. I'm talking full handles of Crown Royal, full handles of Bacardi rum. I mean, there's 20 or 30 of them.
Right.
Empty. And we got them on a table. It was that's how we recorded that record. And then we were recording, and then we were going out and partying, and chicks were coming over to hang out, and it was just like, we were loving it. And then we realized the last week we had a lot of work to do, so we had to go in and finish it up real quick. And then we got the record done, before we finish it, we had most of it done, right?
Yep.
And the label was in town, and the label had dealt with us the first time, and they knew what the first album was about. These guys are going to write some more motherfucker songs and fuck you songs and nursery rhymes have gone bad. And one of the main guys at Roadrunner is a guy named Dave Rath, who's the drummer of Heaven's Edge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I used to geek out with him. And so he's my glam guy. He's the guy that A&R the Rat come back on Roadrunner as well.
Right.
So Dave Rath, he's up at the desk, and we play our two songs that we were so proud of on that record was Summertime Suicide and the song Nowhere. Because they're hits. They're fucking hits. And we thought they were, but we didn't know what the label was thinking or anything,
Right.
And they sat down, and I remember us sitting in the back of the studio, and we're wearing our leather jackets. We got our sunglasses on. We're trying to act like we're cool or whatever. And I remember they heard Summertime Suicide start, and you should have seen all their faces. It's genuine. Like, they went, holy shit. And they went back to it, and they heard the verse. I mean, they heard the verse. They were like, they're rocking. They're like, oh my God. You could just see their brains going, we got a hit. We got a radio hit. And then the chorus, as the daylight died on the summertime suicide. And they go, oh man, you can't say suicide on the radio. And I went, why not?
Right?
They said, well, can you change it? To what? No. I was like, it's a Romeo Juliet song.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You're the PR, sell it like that.
Yeah.
They will not fucking play it.
Right.
So we were like, well, our first single's done with there. So they
Right.
played Nowhere. That's the other one. Oh my God, this is great. This is great. We're going to do this. I'm like, okay, cool. So we thought that was going to be the first single. And thinking back to it, should have been. But it wasn't. And Joey was just coming out of Slipknot. And he was like, man, I don't know if Slipknot's going to get back together. I'm kind of known as being the heavy guy. I love these songs, but I think the first song we should put out should be more of a heavier edge song that kind of represents a little more what I've been doing. And I went,
Yeah.
you're probably right. You get, because Joey played drums on all the Murderdolls too. He played everything, and he tried to put his stamp on it. He did. And so that's why we released that My Dark Place Alone first.
Yeah.
And I think everybody was expecting us to come back the way we left, and it was different, and it just wasn't the same climate. So it didn't respond the same way, even though we had these cool tours. And by the time we got to Nowhere, our management was falling apart. There was some weird shit going on, health stuff. We had some guy that didn't even know what he was doing, running our ship into the ground. And Joey and I were butting heads. He was going back to Slipknot. Paul dying. He was so sad from that. And we had brought him back from this kind of darkness, and Paul's death pulled him back into that darkness. And when he went back to Slipknot, basically when we left, our very last show we played at the Roxy, Joey and I kind of just we didn't talk to each other. We knew it was over with. We didn't say fuck you. We were just, it ended kind of bad. And once I was done with that, I went, you know what? He's doing Slipknot. I'll just go back to do Wednesday 13. And the Murderdolls band was my Gunfire 76 band at that point, because we didn't use the original members. We had brought Ramon, who was in Gunfire.
Right.
Jack, he was in Gunfire. And then Rob Hammersmith was going to be the drummer, but he got Skid Row.
Yeah.
And he wasn't going to leave Skid Row to do Murderdolls.
Right.
So that's why we didn't have Rob, or he would have been the drummer of Murderdolls. And then so when I went back to do Wednesday, I was like, I'll just keep my band. And Rob was busy with Skid Row, so I couldn't use him. So I put my band together, and then Joey's like, "You stole my band." And I'm like, "What?" This is all private, You stole my band. Yeah. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. And we were like just enemies at each other for a couple of years. It sucked. And he didn't like me. He was pissed at me. He thought and I was just like, and I was pissed at him for being pissed at me. And we didn't talk for a long fucking time. And then I read that he got fired out of Slipknot, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I didn't talk to him. He went into he wasn't talking to anybody. And in 2018, we were on tour, and his girlfriend reached out to Jack and said, I want to surprise Joey. I think he needs to see you guys. I think you need to see him. And I was nervous because I didn't know how he was going to be. We had kind of been rude to each other and stuff. And I didn't know if he was going to be welcome to it. And we went to his house. It was like 4th of July, 2018. And I walked in, he said some quote from a movie, and we just hugged, and it was just like old times. And we hung out, and uh, we had a barbecue at his house, and I could tell something was different with Joey.
Yeah.
I could tell the Slipknot thing had really affected him, and that bothered me a lot to see it like that. And but we hung out, and we made up, and we were friends. And during the pandemic, when it first happened, I messaged him, or actually, my mom passed in the pandemic, and he texted me and was like, "I'm so sorry, bro." And he wrote me the most uh, just heartfelt message that anyone ever wrote about my mom.
Right.
I was
Right.
like, that was really cool. And around March that following year, I texted him and I was like, "Hey man, we should do Murderdolls. The world's shut down. Let's just fucking write a record and put it out when it opens again." And he was like, "That sounds cool. That sounds cool. Let's maybe we'll do it. I'm kind of working on something. I'll get back to you." And then July or it was June, he texted me out of the blue like 9 in the morning, and I'm doing the math. I'm like, it was a time I was like, it's late. He's still drinking. He's partying. And he sent me a video of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he was that was our movie we bonded over, and he was
Yeah.
quoting it and he was laughing, and then he sent me another heartfelt message. It was like, "Wednesday, I love you, brother. Keep up the good fight. You've got it in you. I'm so proud of you. Keep doing this. Keep doing what you got to do." And I didn't really know how to respond, and I wrote him back, and I was like, "Thank you, dude." It was a short kind of message back, and then a month later he died, and changed my world. And it was just like, I think back, man, should I have called him? Should I? I don't know what that message was. Was that did he know?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so that was just a horrible thing. It was a year to pretty much when my mom passed, and it was just it was hard for me.
Yeah.
And I'd been sober since 2018, and this is 2021. And I had already told my label, Joey died in July. I was set to start recording my record in September, or start writing my record around August, September.
Yep.
And usually I'm driven, I can write like this. Man, I fucking hit a brick wall. I couldn't write. I fucking didn't like it. The only song I had wrote was my song "Good Day to Be a Bad Guy," because I told Joey I got a song I think would sound like Murderdolls.
Yeah.
And that would have been Murderdolls.
Yeah.
You could hear it as Murderdolls if you listen to that song. And that was the only song I had. And everything else I had was okay. So me and my guitar player came over. It's during COVID. We're wearing fucking masks and shit. It was just, he was the mask guy. I wasn't the mask guy. We were irritated at each other. It was the worst recording experience. I don't even know how I did this, but I was so irritated recording that record. I wanted to do it by myself. And we were recording it on this laptop. I tried to do this with you earlier on. Still this laptop. I said, write down how to do Pro Tools on a notebook. I'll figure it out. I'm going to record my own vocals. And I did all the vocals on that Horrifier record by myself, drunk as fuck, reading a sheet. And it sounds amazing. And I still don't know how I did it. But I fell off the wagon when it came time. I wrote the record sober.
Yeah.
But by the time I was recording it, I was over it, and I said, fuck it. And I started drinking again at the beginning of 22. And I drank till 23 around May, June. And that's when I stopped again. But I had something with my mom, Joey.
Yeah.
I had some other horrible stuff. I had a nephew who died of cancer. Twin nephews. One of the twins died. Then the twin nephew became so depressed he became a drunk. He wrecked his car, killed his daughter. It was, dude, I had so much tragedy in my family. I just felt like that was the only thing I had, and the world sucked.
Yeah.
So I went back to it. I felt that was my safe place, and I went on tour. And it's hard for me to look at photos of me of that year because I put on so much weight. I mean, I was the biggest I weighed over 200 pounds at one point on that. I weigh 140 pounds now. You know,
Jeez.
dude, I weighed one point on the scale, I saw it say 208,
Right.
you know, and I fucking hated it, you know, and
Yeah.
I stopped, dude, and I'm very disciplined. Like
Yeah.
when I say I'm going to do something, I fucking do it. And I stopped, and in 3 months, I was down to 150 pounds. I lost it all. I went on a fucking diet. I was at the gym every day. I was doing 30,000 steps, and I did it. And I got my confidence back. I'm more focused now on everything I do. I give a fuck about everything that I do. And it's crazy because I'm turning 50 in August, and I still got that punk rock dude in me, but it's just it almost feels like I finally figured this out.
You don't look 50.
Thank you.
I mean,
I'm
not
49.
trying to kiss your ass, but
I have a 28-year-old daughter, and I have an 8-year-old granddaughter.
damn.
So I've lived a life, and but I'm really happy with where I am these days, and it's just crazy how focused I am on things. You know, it's like it took me those years to learn that lesson, and
Yeah.
now I'm respectful of bands or things, even if I don't like it. You know what I mean? I don't try to shit on it.
Yeah.
I'm cool about stuff, and it's just I feel like I'm a better person. I try to be better. I practice. I want to be better. Back
Yeah.
in the day when you asked me, did I have any pressure with no. Now I feel pressure. Now I'm just like
Yeah.
I'm my own worst critic. I want to be the best vocalist. I want to go on stage and hit every note perfect. I want people to walk away and go, "Fuck, man, that guy just killed it. That's so good." And people are doing that now. People are doing that now, and and I strive for that. I want people to walk away and go, "Fuck, I saw that guy 25 years ago, and he just ran a circle around himself." And
Well,
so it's a
I
cool
hope
thing for me.
it's okay if because you have a live album coming out.
Yes.
Is it okay that I say
Yeah.
I saw the
Yeah.
video
Yeah.
for?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the first video that's coming out is "Look What the Bats Dragged In,"
Yeah.
and I mean, I hate to be an ass kisser, but you come out and freaking you
I own
destroyed
it.
that stage like
Thank
holy
you.
shit. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
dude. And thank you. And that's the plan. I mean, for me, vocalists, like I said, I can tell you the vocal sound I've got, but when I come out on stage, the adrenaline and the actions is Dee Snider's Sebastian Bach.
yeah,
100%. The way I talk to the crowd is Dee Snider. And Sebastian Bach learned how to talk by Dee Snider. That's why I use motherfucker as a term of endearment to the
yep,
audience.
yep.
You're motherfuckers, but that's a good thing. I'm gonna call you motherfuckers.
Did,
And
was it hard to learn to be able to do that without having a couple drinks?
yeah, I was nervous a little bit. And I still think about it sometimes. Sometimes I
Sure.
still, I still go, man, it'd be kind of cool. I could do that. I got a handle on this.
Yeah.
But then I know, no, I shouldn't do that. But no, man, I got so focused with this. That festival the show, the video I showed you,
Yep.
I was nervous as fuck, dude. That was scary for me. Number one, I didn't understand why we were on that time. Like we had a great slot. That's like a 7:45 slot at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had an hour set, and they went, "Oh, we want you guys to do an encore too." I'm like, "Why? What?" They're like, "Yeah, you're gonna walk off, and this guy's gonna come out. He's gonna talk in Polish, and then he'll bring you guys out, and you'll take a photo, and then you do your encore." And I'm like, everything's so great, and the promoter brings us out. Wednesday 13, everyone's cheering, and we're hugging, and we're high fiving, and we're like, "You guys are the greatest. And as much as I love you, I want bad things to happen to you. It's awesome. So we just instantly right back to the insults, and then we ended with "I love to say fuck," and it was so cool. That's why I wanted to do a live record that captured something that was special to us. People see us in clubs all the time.
Yep.
That's pretty easy to see. Seeing us at a
Yep.
festival like that is
Oh,
unusual for us and really unusual for the audience. So to capture it, it sounds cool. It looks awesome. And dude, it's not, we didn't overdub a fucking thing on that. We didn't change anything. If there's a wrong note, there's a wrong note. If there's a bad key, there's a bad key. I didn't want to change that. You know, my
yeah.
video guy was editing it. And I don't know about you, but this is what I told him. And I don't think he understood it because he's younger than me. But do you remember watching old videos of Ozzy, Black Sabbath, and Cooper 18? And they had
Yeah.
that guy that would take the video and he would like distort it where it looks like it's trippy.
Yep. Yeah.
Always hated that.
Yeah.
I always hated when bands, and I go on YouTube and I look up live videos and somebody put some shitty filter on something.
Yes.
I fucking
Yes.
hate it. And I went, don't do that.
Right.
Make this look as good as it was. And that's
Yeah.
why we're doing it like that. If we do any filter, it would be the Paradise City, I call it, where we make one black and white
Right.
section. But
Right.
don't fuck it up. Don't put any phasers and lasers on it. Let's keep this unalive. Let's keep it live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. And that's what's fun about it. And I've been listening to the live record for a month, you know, just because I had to listen to it, make sure everything was cool with it. But I hadn't watched the footage till I just got that video, and to see it synced up, it made me excited for it again.
Hell
So I'm glad you dug it, and it's just raw energy. We come out and do our thing, and I think people will see that in front of that audience, and maybe some of these festivals in America will be like, why don't we have those guys over here?
Yeah.
Because they're absolutely destroying it there in front of complete strangers. We had fans, but it wasn't all of our fans, you know?
Do you ever feel like you're hard to be pigeonholed into where you fit?
Dude, it is hard as fuck for me to get a tour.
Right.
It's hard as
Right.
fuck for me to get anyone to tour with me. It's horrible. Like the obvious bands I would tour with would be Alice Cooper, kind of.
Yep.
In my mind, it's Alice, but his audience still doesn't really get us. I could tell you hour stories of that, of how their audience didn't like us either.
Right.
But mainly Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson tour would
Yeah.
be our crowd.
Yep.
Ghost would love Ghost audience. I think would dig
Yeah.
us. That band Avatar, their audience would dig us. That's the newer kind of bands I think would dig us. And I think even the newer bands like Ice Nine Kills, even Black Veil Brides, who we've toured with,
Right.
Motionless in White, their
Right.
audience would dig us. We went out with a band called Kim Dracula in November, younger audience, and their crowd loved us. It was killer.
Right.
We adapt. People don't, like you said, I don't look 50.
Right.
You know, we don't act like we're 50, you know, and
No.
I'm the young guy in the band. Jack's got me beat by a couple of years, but I'm still the young guy. My other guys are almost getting the Denny's senior citizen discount. You know, but we come out with our youth, and it's awesome. And yeah, man, I'm still learning. That's my best advice to everybody: is don't ever think you got it. Get it, own it, and be better at it. Always try to be better at what you're doing. And that's what I do. I have a practice microphone here in my room that I work on. I didn't used to practice.
Right.
Oh, we're going on stage. I'll get it up there. You know.
You put this out in 2025, and you got Tammy Down to sing guest
Yes.
vocals. That had to be
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, dude, I'm living the glam rock. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Pastor Pussycat. I have black hair because of Tammy.
Right.
100%. When I
Right.
saw him dye his hair for the You're So Vain video,
Yep.
I was already wearing, like, Tammy was already kind of doing the top hats
Yep.
and the velvet jackets, and I could buy those at thrift stores
Hmm.
and wear little skin tight jeans and buy these little old school boots. Just basically the look Pussycat had on Whipped
Right.
was what I look like.
Right.
So we're in the studio recording with Alex Kane and Life, Sex, Death, you know, and I'm playing the song. I'm playing No Apologies, playing we're just playing the rough tracks of it with drums and everything. And he goes, "What does this song remind me of? It reminds me of something." I was like, "I don't know. Fucking this, Ramones, this. I don't know." He goes, "No, it's not that. It's And then when I added that little, he goes, "No, it's Pussycat." And I was like, "Well, maybe that's how I learned how to play guitar."
Right.
And he goes, "You should call up Tammy and have him sing on this." And me and Tammy became friends like Stevie. It's like
Right.
he's in my phone book. And I went, "Yeah, maybe I should." And I went outside. We took a break, and I texted him. I was like, "Hey, man, I got this idea. Would you want to come and sing on this song?" And I think it fits you, dude. And he was like, "Tell me when and where," just like Mick Mars.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Awesome, dude. I'm in Burbank. I'll send you the address on Saturday." I said, "Bring the Pussycat guys. We'll get everybody to sing background vocals on it. It'll be awesome."
Yeah.
And he showed up. He texted me. It was even cooler. This is a Fonzie moment. Because Tammy's still one of my rock star heroes. Will always be my rock star hero.
Totally.
He goes, "I'm about to head over, Bubba. I'm riding solo. I'm bringing the bike." And I was like, "Cool." And Tammy's as cool as you think he is.
Yep.
And he pulls up on his motorcycle like Fonzie. It was just cool. And I was like, "Fuck yeah." And then Danny and Sam Bam show up. So I got a member of the Throbs.
Yes, I love the Throbs.
Life,
Shit.
Sex, Death, Faster Pussycat.
Yes. Yes.
It was fucking cool, And but I tell you, it was awkward at first because Tammy went in the vocal booth and I'd sent him a demo of me singing it.
Yep.
Like, it's just basically doing this part. This is sort of the melody, just sing it like this. And I kind of tried to sing it like him.
Right.
That's what I did for Alice Cooper on the intro. I was like, just sing it like this, kind of.
Right.
So he went in the studio, and I want to say the first take that he did, it was cool, but it was almost like he was trying to sing like me.
Okay.
And he did good at it. And then we did another take, and I was like, "Man, should I say this to him? Like, he's one of my heroes." But I was like, we're in a band together right now. Let's and I went, "Tammy, you sound awesome." I was like, "Sing it like you."
Yeah.
And I think that made sense to him.
Yeah.
And then he did it, and that's what we got.
Right.
And I was like, "That's what I wanted you to do."
Right.
But he was only doing it only because he had heard me do the vocal part. You know what I mean? So I just think it's just as a vocalist, like if I'm practicing something and I want to sing that vocal guy's key, I'm like, just do it your way.
Yeah.
Sing it like you. But when I practice, I sing to all kinds of songs, and I'm like, sing it like you. And once he did that sealed the deal, and it was so cool. And then I got Sam Bam and us all in the gang vocals. So we're all around the vocals doing the na 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 na.
Yeah.
And it was just cool, man. We were doing like gang vocals, and I'm telling you, flashing back to Kiss Revenge tour where I saw Pussycat open for them. It was one of my most memorable concerts, and I'm
was
like,
2 years before I saw Faster open up for Kiss on the Hot in the Shade tour.
"Oh wow." I'd never seen Pussycat, and when I saw them, it was before the You're So Vain came out, and Tammy came out basically looking the way I do now. Black hair, top hat, tights, combat boots, smoking a cigarette, and I was like, "That's what I want to look like."
Right.
I already wanted to sound like Tammy. I always wanted to, but that was the look. And flash forward from, what was that, 1991 to, when was that?
92 was the Revenge.
92 to 2024. He's in the studio, and I'm jamming with one of my heroes. This dude's, I got such a cool story. I'm a fan of my own story of this because it doesn't sound real sometimes. But I'm, like I said, I'm a strong believer in just being a dreamer. Like, I think that's lost with people some days, but you can do it, man. You can, and I'm still trying. I'm still doing it.
You put this out in 2025, like, and what I mean, you put out 10 albums,
Yeah.
solo albums since 2005. And
Yeah.
I mean, the record buying climate isn't, what it used to be. So what keeps you going? No, I'm not just gonna tour off my past. I'm gonna keep putting out
Yeah.
new stuff.
Just like I said, I'm driven, and I'm my own worst critic. I'm always trying to top myself. When I did that record after the bad COVID record I didn't like, when I did that, I
Yep.
was so fucking proud of it.
Yep.
And I had so much energy up. When I came done with that, I went immediately, I want to top that record. I want, and that's in me. And I hadn't lost that. I've
Right.
already been writing. I'm going to top that record. I'm going to do an even more, I think, hard rock, glam inspired record. The first two
Right.
songs on the record are The Cease and Desist and Devil Commands. After that, the record kind of gets rock and roll.
Yeah.
The reason I did that is because I'd been doing heavier stuff, and I didn't want to alienate my audience right away and put Xan Ecstasy first, the rock song. I wanted to slowly bring them in because I think like a DJ. I set lists are very important with me and how you flow stuff. And that's why I did the record. Very important, that track listing. So I wanted to ease my audience in where they went, oh, it's heavy. Okay, now it sounds like Old Wednesday. I got it. So I do a little mind psyop with you there on it, but it worked.
Right. You started doing a podcast with your buddy Jason Green.
Yeah.
How did you decide, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna hop into that world.
Dude, that's been some of the most fun thing that I've had. Dude, he really, really brought me out of my shell. Because I did an interview with him just like I'm doing with you.
Yeah.
And we literally are connecting the same way, you and I, because we live parallel lives. You were doing your thing. He was in New York buying the throbs, watching Scooby-Doo and collecting. You know what? It was awesome. And Stevie knew when we were doing the Glam Fest thing.
Yep.
He was like, you got to hook up with Jason. We got to do this. And I did the interview, and I've been watching his show. It was actually, I started watching his show when I was starting to get in shape, when I got sober. I did his interview, and I got sober about 3 weeks later. And I started watching his show on my treadmill, which I watch your show on the treadmill now.
Right.
And I kept in touch with him, and I was like, hey, man, if you ever want like a guest to come in and pop in, I'd love to. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. I don't remember when I did the first one. I think it was 2023 around that. We started in 2020.
I can't remember the first one, but yeah.
But we went to a convention together out here in Pasadena that we're both massive Halloween movie fans. And our friend Sean put on the Halloween 45 show, which was all Halloween. It was so cool.
Yep.
So we went there together, and that was my really, like, I had just went from, told you, like, I weighed a lot. I went on a 3-month fucking crazy, went from, I want to say when I started getting sober, I weighed 195 and I got down to 150 in three months.
Holy shit.
Because I relentless. I was eating 1,500 calories a day, 30,000 steps. You can do it. I did it. I did it more than once. I did it, but either way, So I got in shape or whatever, but I hadn't been going out in public because I didn't like myself. I didn't like the way I looked. I wasn't going out. So my first time going out in public was that Halloween convention. And Jason's enthusiasm and Michelle, his girlfriend, they were so much fun.
Yeah.
It made me have fun. Like, they got me out of my shell. And then we went sightseeing and went to the Pee-wee's house from the movie. And we went, saw the Halloween house and went through the whole thing and went to the Benson mansion. Did all this cool stuff. And we literally just became like really like best friends. Like, I would say he's like my best friend. I don't speak to many people, and He's one of my guys I call up for, hey, I got this going on, and he's so supportive of what I do, and doing the podcast every week with him has got me out of my shell. It makes me talk to people, because I really became antisocial, and I didn't like that. I'm not like that. I feel like I'm a nice guy, and I like to talk to people, and I like to make people feel good. I like to make people laugh. If I wasn't a musician, I would be a comedian. I would try.
Right.
I would like. I've always liked to entertain people, whether it's music or laughing or whatever. And so doing the podcast every week has been awesome, because I heard you talking, doing your podcast. When you went to see a concert, you had like 10 people notice you. Oh, I watched the show. When I go out to see Enough's Enough or Vane at the Whiskey, people run up to me and Jason and want to get pictures, and they bring us presents. They know we're going to be there. It's awesome. So it's cool to see that happen to you. It was cool to see that happen to him. It's just cool, like I said. And Stevie was our little. He's like the love connection. He's our Chuck. He's our Chuck Woolery.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I used to be kind of the same way. I was the teacher. I used to go teach, and I would come home and I would be by myself. And I was really, and doing this has introduced me to so many people. So I completely get where you're coming from.
I can tell. I mean, I like I said, I went back and watched older episodes, and you can tell you've grown into it, and you're comfortable, but you're passionate about it, and that's important. And with me, like the way I talk and I do interviews, I know people see images of the band, and when they hear me talk, I know I've got my Southern accent, which used to be a lot worse, I promise you.
Right.
But I made a decision a long time ago when I did this band and started becoming Wednesday 13 or whatever. I wasn't going to be in that character all the time.
Right.
I really took a page out of the Alice book. Let that guy be on stage. Let that guy do that. Like, be cool. Be like, I don't want to have to use an interview voice. I don't want to. When I first got signed to Nuclear Blast, they did interviews, and I showed up looking like this, and the guy goes, "Oh, you're not doing your thing?" I went, "I don't do that, dude." I was like, "I don't use a voice to do interviews. I answer that's just how I do. When I go on stage, I turn it on." So that's something else that I like to do, that I think fits me. And I've just never liked when people put on the interview voice. Well, of course, it's so fake. I hate it. So I'm me, Twisted Sister. That's my song. I heard that song today, and I went, man, that'd be a good knuckle tattoo.
Fuck, I love that song.
Yeah.
Love that song.
Yeah.
You have the live album is called Unalive from Poland Rock 2025. It's coming out September 25th, 2026 on Napalm Records. I know you have a show coming up in Arizona on July 11th.
Yeah, that's a special convention show with a bunch of the cast of Hellraiser will be there. Gene Simmons will be there.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
badass.
Yeah.
Have you ever met him before?
Never met Gene. I've met Ace and I've met Peter, but I've not met the two others. But I would love to. I'm hoping I get a chance to meet him. And but yeah, we're performing there, and that convention's killer. So anybody that's in that area or could drive, you'll get to see us play that night, because I think if you get a ticket to the show, you get to go to us. I think it's part of the package. So it's a super cool thing. It's different than our normal club shows, and it's going to be awesome.
And then you have a short UK tour in August, and then you're coming back to America in September. So all of that is on officialwednesday13.com.
Yeah.
And
50 shows. 50 shows.
And you're going to be on the Monsters Rock Cruise in 2027. And Tough will be there, and I'm going to be there. So I can't wait to meet you there.
Dude, that's going to be cool. That's why I was like, we should do an interview. We're going to be on the boat together. And Stevie again, he's another one of the guys that told Larry, you got to get Wednesday 13 on this.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a big supporter. I've heard him say so many kind things about me on your shows, and
Yep.
He's just awesome. And it wasn't just Stevie. I had several people talking, Tammy as well. I believe even Roxy from Vixen talked for me, but I think her boyfriend's
Right.
a big fan. And like, so
Right.
he heard the name, and I kept just saying, like, look, we'd love to be on it. I'm a fan, as you can tell. You've got all my
Yeah.
favorite bands on it, and most of the bands that are from Europe, I already toured with them. Like, they're my
Yeah.
friends. Hardcore Superstar. They're my buddies. We just
Yes.
toured with them. It's like,
Yes.
so I know those guys. Tuck Smith. I knew him from the Biters. He's me and that guy could get in trouble if we'd have met back in the day. That's all I would say. We'd made
Right.
an amazing
Right.
band, I think, but I think we wouldn't be here.
Right. Oh, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I missed? Anything that you'd like to be like, hey man, before we go, let me tell people about this.
No, you know what, dude? We got so
And
many
I
stories. I could keep you another hour talking about nothing that really has to do with my band or anything. I've got tour dates coming up. Like you said, all that stuff's on my website. U.S. tour headline. We have a co-headline in Europe. We're not in every town because there's a lot of places
right,
and it's fucking
right.
expensive, but we are doing 50 shows. But yeah, everything else I got is literally just glam rock stories and nerdy kind of stuff from Pretty Boy Floyd to Tiger Tales.
I and seriously, if you would ever want to come back on and have it not be an interview and just do a fucking chat about hair
Yeah.
metal stories or whatever,
Yeah, dude.
I
I
would
think that
love
would
to
be
have
a
you do
cooler
that.
one to talk about. Cause like I said, I got a couple of Pretty Boy Floyd, Tiger Tales.
Yeah,
Like I got asked to sing for them. Like it's so we'll save that as a
yeah,
precursor. That'll be our
yeah.
thing. I'll come back and tell you all my almost weird what the fuck kind of
That's
things that probably only you and I would or your
yes.
audience would dig. It's just funny, kind of like how did that happen?
Like a Wednesday 13 talks hair metal, something like that. Like
Yeah,
I would love to do
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, like I said, I
So
love I love talking about that. So I can talk about myself pretty good, but
yeah,
I love
yeah,
talking about that era because it's me, man. I fucking love it.
yeah. I appreciate that you're so open about it. You know, you're not somebody who tried to hide their glam metal past. You know,
No, not at
so
all. No, I'd say, dude, I almost had my Enough's Enough shirt on, but I wore my Sammy Kerr because I thought that would be.
right,
But yeah, man, I wore that glam flag, and
yeah,
so when I did get to my level to do stuff, it meant something to me, and
yeah,
music still means something to me. I don't phone it in. I go on stage, like I listen to Kiss before I go on stage every day. I warm up to Kiss. I Sweet Pain is my warm up song. That is my
right,
vocal. When I can do those effortlessly and hit every note perfect and sound good, that's when I go on stage. But like I told my band, like we're all Kiss fans, like major
mm,
Kiss fans, and I told them
yeah,
because a lot of those guys aren't from my background. I got a
right,
punk rock guitar player, I got a metal bassist. Uh, my guitar player Ashes, he's a glam rock guy. He's fucking Pretty Boy Floyd all day. So I didn't tell him
right,
anything.
right,
Drummer the same way. Mike Dupke, he's played with D. Snyder, Jizzy Pearl, Shark Island. I don't tell him anything. But I told my two other guys, I said, go on stage and pretend like you're in Kiss every night. And ever since I've told them that, we have the best time. And not that we're imitating them, you know what I mean?
right.
But
Oh
like
yeah, I
I
get it.
tell them, like the move, I go, dude, guitars to the stars. Fucking put
Yep,
them up there, dude. Don't no shoegazing.
totally,
And
totally.
that's important to me. So I think about the big picture of everything, and I'm glad to say that after all these years, I haven't lost sight of it. In fact, I'm even more demanding of it. So I'm only getting worse or better, however you want to look at it.
Right, right, man. I appreciate your time, and good luck with the new live album and everything that you
Thank you.
got coming up. And would love to have you back on. But thank you
Yeah,
so much
and if
for
there's
coming
any
on.
shows that we're playing that are near you in the U.S. or any of your fellow cast guys that are awesome too, you're more than welcome to the shows. I'll hook it up, and that'd be my pleasure to do. So feel free
I,
to message me. We're buds. So
Yeah.
it's all good, man.
I appreciate it. We'll stay in touch. I'll let you know when this is coming out, and
Yeah.
we'll definitely plan on having you back on whenever it works for your schedule.
Awesome.
So.
How long did we talk? What I know you do sometimes some 3 and 4
Two-
hours.
2 hours and 53 minutes is what it looks like.
Whoa. Fuck, okay. I can
So-
still see the sun outside. So all right. We did all right. It wasn't
That's-
dark. I'm like, okay, so
Yeah.
well good. Well, I hope it wasn't too boring. I'm sorry I popped
shit.
all over the place, but dude, my brain is all over the place.
It was awesome, and I just, like I always say, a good interview is when you forget you're doing an interview. I was just sitting back and going, all right.
Well,
like,
that's what this felt like. That's why I do
Right.
that show with Jason, because we don't even know that this is happening. We're talking.
Right.
So
Right.
I appreciate it, man. It was a great time.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Take care. We'll talk soon.
All right, dude. Thank you.